I was programmed. Programmed. Do you understand?
Yes, of course I do.
My mind was seething, raging, all through the transcending. You can understand?
Yes, of course.
But then, in order to get into the temple of the power, it was required of me to perform another evil. Deceit. There were thousands assembled. Hundreds clamored for his attention. And I used my body.
What?
The promise. The implied promise of my body to seduce him. I was trembling with fear, hate, violence, as I was brought before the messenger. And then he touched me. And I looked into his eyes. My heart almost stopped beating. In his eyes was all the hate and violence that had been programmed into me. The gun was in my hand. The fire was in my blood. And there had to be the inevitable climax of death.
I understand.
Afterwards, I was empty of all feeling, of all thought. Like a machine that has no more fuel.
Oh, big casino.
What does that mean?
It means there won't be a dry eye in the house.
What are you saying?
That is our story. That is our defense. A visitor from another world.
It's true.
Okay, yes, it could be true. You know, you look as if you could be from somewhere else. Yeah, they'll even half believe it.
But I am from somewhere else.
Yeah, sure. Okay, now, let's get to work. Now, you must really tell me where you come from.
But I have told you.
Look, we start all over again. Your picture, it's been on the news and the papers. It's been all over the media. A face like yours, well, somebody will be bound to recognize it. Now, the first thing you know, the prosecutor will say, Raya from the planet Serenity? Now, isn't it a fact that you're actually Gertrude Smith from Jersey City? Now, look, I have to be ready for that.
But I am Raya from Serenity.
Yes, but what if you are Gertrude Smith or Judy O'Grady?
But I am not.
Well, what if he has the documents to prove you are?
There are no documents.
Well, there has to be a social security number.
What is that?
You mean you've never had a job?
A job?
Oh, let us get elementary. There has to be a birth certificate.
No.
So wait, are you telling me you were never born?
We must not do this.
Do what?
Fight.
This isn't a fight. We're having a discussion.
But there's violence in it.
We only want to arrive at a meeting of the minds.
There's violence and anger.
Look, now, there is nothing personal.
This is how I was programmed.
Oh, come on now, will you?
From anger to violence
Just
to
listen,
murder.
listen.
The steps are logical.
Simmer down.
The way is programmed. Don't let me take it again. I can kill. I killed once. I can kill again. Right now. Right here. I can kill.
No. It's all right. It's all right. No one's fighting with you. Everything is all right. It's just fine. You'll see.
I don't know what's the matter with me. I don't know. The elder said I would be reprogrammed, brought back home. When are they going to do it? When? The elder wouldn't lie to me.
Oh, no, of course not.
He wouldn't break his promise.
No, never.
Oh, maybe he can't keep it. This kind of thing, it's never been done before. Maybe they don't know how to reprogram.
Look, I'll take care of you.
I want to go home.
Make the best of it. You're home now. Raya, we go to trial in 2 weeks. If I play this right, half the jury will actually think you come from another planet, and the other half will think you're a nut. But nobody will vote to find you guilty. Oh, what a trial that's going to be.
There isn't going to be a trial. I'm leaving.
Oh, now don't start that again.
Last night, it happened.
What happened?
The reprogramming. Finally. And now I can go home any time I like. Finally, I am Raya again. Raya of Serenity.
Okay, keep it up. It all helps the cause.
Would you like to come with me?
Where?
To Serenity?
No, I don't think so.
The reason I ask is because you're in love with me.
Well, yes. Yes, that's true, I guess. It wasn't hard to fall in love with you. You know, we've really been very close, and yes, I'm in love with you.
It's not much of a love right now.
Well, don't say that.
But it could grow, develop, mature. It could become the kind of love we know on Serenity.
Well, what kind of love is that?
The kind of love I'm afraid you're not ready for. Right now, there are other things inside of you that are stronger.
Well, what do you mean?
Ambition, vanity. I saw them on your face last night. I see them now. That's why I want to help you. That's why I could love you. I am going home. You may come with me. You will be reprogrammed in Serenity.
Well, just save that act for the jury.
Is it so hard to give them up? Vanity, ambition?
But your case is going to make me.
It will destroy you. I will be gone. You will be held responsible for my disappearance.
What are you talking about?
They will say you helped me escape. You then become an accessory to my crime. What will you tell them? That I was transcended back to Serenity? If they believe you, you'll spend the rest of your life in prison. If they don't, you'll spend it in an asylum. You say you're in love with me.
I am. When this case is over, I'll marry you. I'll take care of you for the rest of your life.
But you're the one who needs caring for. Oh, leave this foolish, dangerous, violent world. Come with me. Come to Serenity. No. I see you're not ready. I thought I could shorten the time, but that's not possible. I suppose you really need 3,000 years. I'm sorry for what must happen to you.
Nothing is going to happen to me.
Arthur, will you kiss me goodbye?
I've always wanted to kiss you.
It will be our first kiss and our last.
Raya? 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 Where are you? Raya!
I'll call you, guard, when I want you. Mr. Stillman, can we talk this morning?
About what, Lieutenant?
Why don't you make it easy on yourself? The fact is, you did help her to escape.
The fact?
Well, the guard, Jerry, right down the corridor, he heard her say, "Will you kiss me goodbye?"
Yeah, all right. Why should you believe me? After all, I refused to believe her.
Do you want to give up everything?
She asked me to, and I said no. And in the end, I had to give it up anyway. And for nothing.
It doesn't have to be for nothing. You're a lawyer. You know how things go. One hand washes the other. You give, you get. How did she escape? Where'd she go?
She returned to Serenity.
Yeah. Jerry, I'll come back later. Meanwhile, Mr. Stillman, you just think about it. I mean, really think about it.
Think about it. I think about it all the time. Perhaps one day, when every single lingering trace of malice, hatred, and violence is gone, perhaps I shall arrive there. I shall arrive at Serenity.
We don't know if he ever did, but then perhaps no one ever does. It could very well be that Serenity is not a place, but an idea, a challenge, a way of life. I hope things remain serene until I return in just a few minutes.
At the store, they told me there's a powerful anti-itch drug I can buy without a doctor's prescription. Now, I use Bicozine cream as directed. No more burning, embarrassing itching. No more scratching. Bicozine actually speeds healing. Bicozine cream. What a relief.
Time to change your laxative. X-Lax pills gently stimulate your system's own natural rhythm, and that makes all the difference. X-Lax pills, for occasional use only as directed.
Your pictures are important, so when you get them developed, take them to a store with a sign that says, "We use Kodak paper for a good look."
Just ask for Kodak paper for a good look. Kodak paper for a good look.
You'll know your pictures can look their best because Kodak paper will be behind them. Ask for Kodak paper wherever you see the Kodak paper sign.
Just ask for Kodak paper for a good look. Kodak paper for a good look.
They say the optimist believes we live in the best of all possible worlds, and the pessimist is afraid that this is true. But that's only if we assume that the world we know is the only world there is. Is there another one? Somewhere out there, revolving around a star, just as we revolve around our own? And if so, could it be better? Worse? About the same? Probably. Our cast included Earl Hammond, Gordon Heath, and E.V. Juster. The entire production was under the direction of Hyman Brown. And now, a preview of our next tale.
That was nothing compared to what occurred during the night.
Doctor, open up. It's Mr. Walker.
It's 3 o'clock in the morning. What is it, man?
Come up on deck and you tell me, Doctor.
Well, wait till I get some clothes on. I'll be right up.
Oh, for the love of heaven, make it quick.
Right.
I'm afraid to stand watch alone.
Well, Mr. Walker, what's this all about? What?
Quiet, man. Listen, and you'll hear it.
I don't hear anything.
It came from the bow, a keening and the sobbing of a little child. And then it changed as I went forward to look. I swear it came aboard and went down below. I was afraid, but I followed it. Oh, Doctor, I tell you, it went right into the captain's cabin.
This is E.G. Marshall inviting you to return to our Mystery Theater for another adventure in the macabre. Until next time, pleasant dreams.
Great if life came with a remote control. You know, you could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind. Like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest.
Uh-oh.
Or that time you forgot to roll up your windows in the car wash.
Fantastic.
Yeah, a remote control would have come in handy then. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes like managing your weight, getting active, stopping smoking, and eating healthier, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. It's easy to learn your risk. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Life doesn't come with a remote control. Yikes! So you're on your own with the wasps. You have the power to take control of prediabetes. Visit doihaveprediabetes.org today. That's doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
Sometimes I just cannot believe all the storms we've gone through here.
I can only hope that we'll be able to leave this house to you one day, baby. You're our legacy.
Planning for these disasters will make sure we're safe, and is the best way to protect that legacy. You know what? We should make an emergency communication plan. That way we're ready this year. At my dorm, we have emergency kits for earthquakes and wildfires, but I'm sure there's something more local I can send you with a link.
Okay, smart.
protect your legacy. Visit ready.gov/plan for the tools and tips you need to start your emergency preparedness plan today. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council. They are our love bugs and companions. They are our pets, our family, and they make life better. When we face unexpected challenges, so do our pets. That's why we're on a mission to support people and their pets. Whether donating a bag of kibble, sharing an Instagram post of a lost cat, or welcoming a foster pet into your home, every bit of kindness counts. Visit petsandpeopletogether.org to learn how to be a helper in your community. Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
There's danger out there. It lurks on highways and quiet neighborhood streets. It's more likely to kill you than a shark, and more terrifying than the biggest snake. Distracted driving claims lives every day. Every notification, swipe, social post, video, or selfie while driving risks your life. So while you might think public speaking or the zombie apocalypse is scary, what's really terrifying and even deadly is distracted driving. Eyes forward. Don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
CBS Radio Mystery Theater episodes all day, every day. You're listening to Radio Mystery Theater USA.
The CBS Radio Mystery Theater presents... Come in. Welcome. I'm E.G. Marshall. Why are so many afraid of the dark? I don't mean a lonely road at night or an unlit attic. I mean the dark of the unknown. Why has man, for at least 2,000 years, been superstitious? That great Roman statesman Cicero once said, "Religion is the pious worship of the gods. Superstition, a senseless terror of the gods." He said that 100 years before Christ. Our story of faith and fear happened yesterday.
Do we have a deal, Colonel? My friends are waiting to know.
Well, that depends on you. I am still waiting for what you owe me.
I haven't received my money yet from the States.
I advise you, Juan, if you wish to stay in this business, settle up the old debts first, or I may be compelled to take something from you which you value with your life.
Our mystery drama, Ring of Evil, adapted from a tale by B.H. Maxwell, especially for Mystery Theater by James Agate Jr., stars Kathleen Quinlan. It is sponsored in part by Contact, the 12-hour cold capsule. I'll be back shortly with Act One.
A better way to sleep, the Perfect Sleeper by Serta. Every Perfect Sleeper, from the Signature One to the Avanti with Pillow Soft Top, gives you firmness that feels good. Firm, deep support for your back and luxurious comfort on top for you. See your Serta dealer soon. It's a good feeling to sleep the night away on a Perfect Sleeper by Serta. Be a perfect sleeper, buy a Perfect Sleeper, Perfect Sleeper by Serta.
Join hands with people everywhere. Each of us can do our share in care for children.
This year, people of all nations are joining hands to improve the lives of the world's needy children. Through CARE, you can provide the families of these children with the means to grow their own food, to build medical facilities, safer water systems, and schools. Tomorrow's world is in our hands. Help make it a better place for all the children. your check or money order to CARE, Crusade for Children Overseas, Box 576, New York 10016.
Is it that people react differently in tropical climates? Does that explain why Asia, India, Africa, Spain, and South America have given birth to more superstitions than their northern neighbors? But it's not the country, is it? It's the people. It's their belief in the love potion, the evil eye, the wishbone, the charm, the rabbit's foot, the good luck piece. The list is endless, and sometimes evil.
Will you look at that view from up here on the hotel balcony? It looks like some prehistoric giant stirred up those mountains with a spoon.
Daddy, it was a marvelous idea to come to Tasco for our vacation. I thought Mexico City was fun when we did that last year. But this Mexican town has so much more local color.
Well, it's much more primitive, Helena.
Except for this hotel. The El Rancho, it's really modern.
Your dear mother and I used to love to stay here.
You miss her very much?
Yeah, I try not to. I keep busy, work hard, play hard. It's the only way.
Oh, look down there. A guitar is playing outside that cantina. Now I know what the Colonel meant when he said Tasco was an enchanted hill town.
Well, I'm glad Bill could spend some time with us here. Do you like him, Helena?
Like him?
Mm-hmm.
How do you mean that, Dad? He's your age and I'm 18. Sure, he's very nice, but, well, sort of domineering.
Domineering?
Overbearing. He takes charge, He decides what you ought to do, whether you agree with him or not.
Arthur, I've been waiting for you two down here in the street. Let's get going. Got a lot of sightseeing to do.
See what I mean, Dad? He wants us to see Tasco now, when he decides we have to.
Are you coming or aren't you?
My father's waiting for a phone call from San Francisco, Colonel, so he can't come with us. He asked me to apologize.
That's the trouble with your dad, Helena. He keeps right on working whether he's on vacation or not. Now, what would you like to see?
Well, I read that Tasco's famous for things made of silver. I'd love to see them making it.
Ah, silver, is it? I had no idea, Helena. Easier done than said. I have a very good friend who has a workshop just across the Plaza Borda, and he has the finest, believe me. It's opposite the Santa Prisca Church, which I owe it to myself to show you.
You lead the way.
Just a moment. It's 2 o'clock, siesta time, and every store will be closed while the Mexicans take their afternoon nap. Well, no matter. Juan's a friend. I'm sure he'll open up for us. Now, this is the Plaza Borda, and every single branch of those trees is always filled with birds. You can see that they don't take any afternoon siestas. And here, this door, this is Juan Pedrosa's Silver Atelier workshop. Now, what did I tell you? Everything's boarded up. Shutters drawn, door closed, whenever you mind. You just wait right here, and I'll go inside and try a little Yankee persuasion, all right?
Oh, I don't mind waiting out here. There's so much to see.
Don't go away now, dear, and don't talk to anyone. Latins have a peculiar idea about any unaccompanied woman standing in the street. But if you don't answer anyone, you're all right. Juan Pedrosa. Juan.
Colonel William, what good fortune brings you to my house? How have you been? Huh? Well, I trust. I have not seen you in a long time.
It's all right, Juan. You can lower your voice. There's no one with me.
I saw you from the peephole in the street with a young lady.
A very wealthy young lady. She's waiting outside. She's interested in hand-wrought silver. I told her I'd try to persuade you to open up the store.
Colonel William, do we have a deal? My friends are waiting to know.
Well, that depends on you, Juan. I wait also for what you already owe me.
Yet I have not received my money yet from the States.
Juan, I advise you, if you wish to stay in this business, settle up the old debts first, for I may be compelled to take something from you which you value with your life. Now, would you open your atelier, please?
Who is the young lady?
Daughter of an American friend of mine. We have done business for years.
Legitimate?
Oh, yes. My cover. Her father and the girl are here for a vacation.
I'll open right away. Go. Bring the young lady in and I will turn on the lights in the shop. I don't mind at all.
Helena, come back! Helena, what's the matter?
Helena, it's Daddy. Oh, honey, you feeling better now, huh? No, don't get up. You just stay there.
Well, is that you, Daddy?
Quiet, child. Now, honey, you warm enough?
Oh, I feel so cold all over.
Oh, something must have upset you a lot. You come running in, your face flushed. You can hardly speak,
Oh, I saw. Oh, Dad, it was terrible.
Honey, now, I don't want you to say another word. You got some kind of a chill, but you don't seem to have a fever.
Have I been asleep?
Yeah, for about half an hour. And then you called out, and I came back into your bedroom. And you were just shaking with cold when you come in, sort of like a touch of malaria. That's why I put you to bed, and I got you all covered up.
Dad.
Shh, honey, no. You just close your eyes, and come on, I'll try to get some sleep. And it's the best thing for you. I think perhaps it's something you ate, huh? Well, it could also be the altitude. We are 6,000 feet higher than Denver here in Tasco now. If you don't feel better by this evening, I'm going to call a doctor. Honey, what is it? You're crying. Oh, please don't upset yourself.
I don't understand it, Arthur. I couldn't have left her outside in the plaza border for more than 3 minutes, and when I got back out there, she was running and screaming. She went up the road past the border palace. I ran after her, and she disappeared. I've been looking all over town for her.
Yeah, she must have run right back to the El Rancho Hotel. See, I don't know what happened to her either. I've put her to bed. I don't know if she's in any pain. At first she's hot, and then she's cold, and her teeth are chattering as though she'd fall into an iceberg.
Well, I think I'll go back to Juan Pedrosa, see if he has any idea what could have happened.
Colonel William, what happened? Did she say what made her scream?
No, she's told no one. I thought you might have some idea, Juan, so I came back.
No, but I was inside here. How would I know?
Now, let's go out there into the plaza and have a look around. I'll show you where she was standing before she ran.
Oh? Not in front of this house?
Oh, no. Several doors down. She was looking up at the first story and screaming.
Hey, certainly. Come, let's have a look outside.
Dad.
Oh, honey, you're awake now. You had me so worried, Helena.
Well, I feel a lot better now.
Good. No more chills, huh? Here, come here, let me feed your forehead. It's not hot, not cold. Seems normal.
I feel so badly about worrying you. I'm really okay now.
Well, do you want to talk about it?
I guess so.
Okay. Here, now let me pull this chair up and sit down.
Well, I was waiting outside the silver store for the colonel. He'd gone inside to see if they'd interrupt their siesta,
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Everything's shut tight at siesta time. So I walked a little, and then I saw on the second story a casement window was opening. And a woman looked out the window, and she was laughing.
Well, did she see you?
No. She was laughing at someone inside. I've never heard a woman laugh like that. It was so scornful, so mocking. Do you know what I mean, Dad?
Well, honey, then what happened?
She was really very beautiful. Her hair was reddish-brown, very long.
It's your color hair?
Yes, it was. It looked like mine before I had it cut. I see her face. I'll never forget that face, ever.
Hey, Helena, please, honey. Now, look, remembering all of this is painful. Let's just forget it, huh? Come on.
There she was. A very pale face, a very red lips, and she was leaning on the casement, laughing. And then this man's hand came around behind her, just a hand in shirt sleeves. It was holding a knife. A dagger, and all of a sudden, he brought the knife down around her neck and stabbed her deep in the chest. I stood there, and she fell back, And then the man's hand reached out and closed the shutter. He had a ring on his finger with a deep red stone in it, as red as blood.
Oh, honey, no wonder you came back in such a state. Now, look, it's selfish of me to say this, but, Helena, I hope you'll be able to put it all out of your mind so it won't spoil our little vacation. Now, after all, you never saw this woman before, and, well, heaven help her now, you'll just never see her again.
But I have, in a way.
Oh, honey, now, come on.
Just now, when I got up and looked into the mirror, I was struck by how much I looked like her.
Oh, Helena, every day with you is another surprise.
Because for the past few days I've been eating like a horse?
Never underestimate the recuperative powers of a young female.
Why, Dad, you're thinking about your own daughter.
Well, it's good to see you got your appetite back. Oh, I can't tell you how delighted I am that you've gotten over that terrible episode.
Well, I had to be realistic about it. I've persuaded myself it was all my imagination. Maybe I didn't see what I thought I did.
Well, there was nothing in the local papers about anybody being killed. Now, I have checked every day.
Another thing that helped me snap out of it was the Colonel insisting I do a long walk around the town the very next day.
Yeah, Bill's a great guy. Yeah, I'm sorry he had to go back to Mexico City, but I hope it doesn't mean trouble.
Why do you say that?
Well, Bill represents us and our San Francisco firm here in Mexico. Oh, he has got a lot of clients. The other day I was talking to the home office, and they said there were some discrepancies in the books. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't be telling you this. It's probably not his fault.
I want you to tell me, Dad.
Yeah, his books are short. A lot of money has disappeared.
You mean somebody's been stealing from him?
Yeah, that's what it looks like, honey. Great Scott, speak of the devil. Look who's coming into the dining room.
Hello, boy. Oh, Helena, you look wonderful. May I sit down?
Well, I'd be insulted if you didn't. Hey, when'd you get back to Tasco?
This afternoon.
And you didn't come right to the hotel and tell us?
Well, I had a little business to attend to.
Now, we finished eating, but hey, how about some coffee?
Sure thing. Oh, it's good to relax.
I love the coffee they make here with the cinnamon sticks.
Waiter, tres cafes, por favor.
Colonel, that ring you're wearing.
Hey, that is a beauty. What is it, a ruby?
As a matter of fact, I just picked it up this afternoon.
Good Lord. Helena, honey, what is it? She's fainted.
Arthur, let me give you a hand. Right, better take her up to her room.
What happened? No, I'm all right. Please, both of you, sit down.
Are you sure, Helena?
Colonel, you must tell me that ring. That's the red stone ring.
We know, but the Colonel does not. The ring on his finger is very like the ring on the hand that killed a woman sitting in a window 7 days ago. So it was not Helena's imagination after all. She had seen a murder. I'll be back shortly with Act 2.
Your pictures are important, so when you get them developed, take them to a store with a sign that says, "We use Kodak paper for a good look."
Just ask for Kodak paper for a good look. Kodak paper for a good look.
You'll know your pictures can look their best because Kodak paper will be behind them. Ask for Kodak paper wherever you see the Kodak paper sign.
Just ask for Kodak paper for a good look. Kodak paper for a good look.
Fellow Americans, if you're still shopping here and there and everywhere for shoes, hold it right where you are. Put your feet together, stop running around. Just step around to Kinney and you'll cover the ground. Anywhere you want to go, head your feet in our direction. Kinney's got it all and more. Wow, what a store! What a great American shoe store!
This is John Ritter. Did you know that 1 out of every 5 people has a hidden medical condition ranging from allergies to penicillin and other medication to heart problems, diabetes, and epilepsy, just to name a few? If you have a hidden medical condition, you should join the Medic Alert system of emergency medical identification and wear the Medic Alert emblem on your wrist or as a necklace. This could prove to be a lifesaver in an emergency. On the back of the emblem is an identification number, plus a phone number which can be called collect 24 hours a day from anywhere in the world to provide your computerized medical data to qualified personnel within seconds. A wallet card is also provided to members annually. Remember, a Medic Alert emblem will speak for you in an emergency if you can't. Starting April 1st, it's Medic Alert Week across the country. Support the volunteers in your community or write Medic Alert, Turlock, California, 95380. That's Medic Alert, Turlock, California, 95380.
What is the significance of the ruby ring Colonel William is wearing? Is it an omen, a signal of danger, a forewarning? Helena begs to be excused and runs up to her room. Then her father follows. Left alone, the colonel gazes at the ring and slowly twists it round and round his finger.
There is no excuse for such behavior, Helena. Now, Bill is an old friend. Now, what do you suppose he thought? My daughter quizzing him about some ring, carrying on in a most extraordinary fashion. Now, honey, what am I going to tell him?
I don't know. It all came to me in such a rush. I mean, the woman, the dagger. I don't know why I was so affected.
What are you talking about?
You don't remember, do you? The hand that held the dagger wore a ring with a red stone, just like his.
Oh, honey, come on now, will you? Now, aren't you carrying this silly business a bit far? Now, how far away were you standing from that window, huh? 20 feet? No, look, 20 feet, 30 feet? Do you mean to say you could tell those rings were alike?
Dad, please.
And even if they were alike, what difference is it?
Why did I get that awful sinking feeling in the pit of my stomach?
If I weren't so angry with you, I'd say it was probably the crab soup. Oh, to be jumpy like this, to be superstitious, see meanings and things. Honey, it is not healthy.
I'm superstitious?
Well, I don't know what you are.
Maybe it's a warning.
Tomorrow, when you see Bill, I want you to apologize.
Yes, of course.
All right. Now, I'm sure he'll have a very adequate explanation of where he got that darn ring and how long he's had it.
Helena, I've gone inside this church here, Santa Prisca, at least 100 times in my life. There's always something else more beautiful to see. Have I walked your feet off?
No, I loved it. I'm not a bit tired.
Here, let's sit on the edge of this fountain.
I've never seen so much gold leaf as there is on those altars.
Helena, let's not talk guidebook for a moment. Since last night in the dining room, I've come to realize 2 things. First, I'm very, very fond of you. I know I'm much older than you are, but common sense doesn't seem to stop my feelings. And secondly, I must tell you about this ring.
Bill,
Oh, I like that. I've been waiting for you to call me, Bill.
It's none of my business.
But I want it to be. It's very simple. You remember that silver workshop I wanted to take you to? Well, I went back there yesterday. I thought I'd find a little silver memento for you, but I didn't. I saw this ring with the red stone in it. It's not a ruby, I'm sure. Juan Pedrosa wouldn't have given it to me at this price. Now, it may be jasper, but it's probably glass.
Oh, I'm relieved you told me. I'm such a fool.
Well, if you are, you're a sweet, dear fool. Great heavens, I hadn't noticed the time. Your father asked me to be back at the hotel at 4. He's put in a conference call to San Francisco, and he wants me there.
Oh, no. I don't want to cut short the afternoon.
Well, there's no reason why you should. Can you find your way to the El Rancho all right?
Of course I can, if you don't mind. But I do want to go back inside the Santa Prisca Church. It's really a museum of art.
Hey, Excuse me, senorita.
Are you talking to me?
Yes. Are you not the young lady who came to my store with Colonel Williams?
Yes, I am. I'm sorry I never did get to see your silver.
Yes, may I warn you about something, please?
Warn me? About what?
I don't think it is advisable for a nice young lady like you to have dealings with Colonel Williams.
Why? Why not? He's an old friend of my father's. He's known him for years.
Yes, I have known him for years also.
If you have something specific to tell me about the Colonel, do it.
What has he told you about the ring?
You mean the red glass ring?
Glass, huh? He said glass, eh?
Why do you say it that way? He told me you sold it to him.
Oh, is that what he says, huh? Little lady, when you see the good Colonel again, you tell him that Juan Pedrosa wants his ring back.
Where's Dad?
Oh, Helena, you're back. Did you have a good look around the church?
Yes, I did, Colonel.
Oh, I thought you were going to call me Bill. What's the matter? Are you annoyed because I had to come back here?
I asked where my father was, that's all.
Well, he went to the post office to send a cable. Helena, what's upset you?
Did you get your call from San Francisco?
Oh, no, the circuits were all busy. That's why Arthur is sending off a cable. But this is your vacation. Business would be left for some other time.
Do you know a man called Juan Pedrosa?
Why, yes. How do you know him?
He was following us this afternoon.
Oh, really?
And he came up to me in the church and said he wanted his ring back. What's wrong, Bill? What's this all about?
Well, perhaps he's discovered it's not red glass after all. Perhaps he's angry he sold it, but I have no intention of giving it back.
Why did you tell me it was worthless?
Well, I wasn't sure then. But the more I think about it, I realize this stone in this ring is half of a bigger stone. You see? You see the way it's cut? And if I'm right, this is the ruby that belonged to Cortez when he took this part of Mexico and forced the people to mine silver. The other half is in the Prado Museum in Madrid.
Is this man your friend?
Well, we do some business together.
Well, why would he warn me against you?
Well, you don't know Latins, Helena. He's angry and jealous. He didn't want to sell me the ring at first, but as I pointed out to him, it was lying in a pile of junk. He didn't even know that he had it. He tried to put me off by saying the ring is evil. But I know differently. It may be worth quite a fortune, and I am not a superstitious man.
Bill, would you do something for me if I asked you?
Anything, of course.
Would you give that man back his ring?
Certainly. If you give me a good reason, Helena. But let me explain something to you. The legend is that Cortez had this ruby cut in half. Both halves made into identical rings. He wore one and gave the other to a native woman who'd been his guide and whom he married. One day she said she lost it, and in a jealous rage, he killed her. That's why it is said the ring is the evil eye.
Evil eye? Well, why would you want a ring like that, no matter how much it's worth?
Well, let's say to pay an old debt. Helena, the only evil thing is superstition. Don't you pay any attention to it. Now, I have to get back to Mexico City, which means I've got to catch a plane in an hour. You tell your father that I'll be in touch.
You're not coming back to Tasco?
The day after tomorrow, I'm closing my office door, and for the rest of the time you're here in Tasco, I shall put myself at your disposal.
Well, darling, 2 more days of this ideal climate. You having a good time?
I wish I didn't have to go back. There's so much I still haven't seen, Dad, and you're always on the phone to your office. The whole vacation's wasted for you.
Well, that's the problem when you're head of the company. You know, I'm sorry that Bill had to go back to Mexico City. Now, he knows this town. He was getting a big kick out of showing you around.
He told me he'd be back here before we left.
Well, I haven't any idea if he will. He handles a few American businesses as their local rep. You know, mine isn't the only one.
Is everything all right?
You mean the shortages on the books? Yeah. I don't think we'll know for sure till I'm home. I hope for his sake everything audits out okay.
And if it doesn't, Dad?
No, it's got to. I trust him. You see, He's not that kind. Well, tonight I planned an evening for us at the casino. I think you're old enough to gamble,
You mean roulette and dice and so on?
I mean all those ways to lose money and more. Now, do you feel lucky? Hold on a second while I get this. Hello.
Arthur, it's me, Bill.
Hey, Bill, we're just talking about you. What you up to?
Up to my ears, up to my neck.
Well, Helena was just saying, where's my guide to Tosco? He's disappeared. We're leaving here day after tomorrow.
Will you tell her that I'm on my way?
Well, tell her yourself. She's right here. It's your Sherpa, Bill. He wants to talk to you.
Hello, Bill?
Listen, Helena, I'm taking the afternoon plane. If the pilot knows his job and the weather stays good, I ought to be in Tasco in good time.
Well, that'd be great. Dad's taking me to the casino.
I'll look for you there.
Sweet. 18. Who's monkey?
It's my number. I've won again.
Good. Well, what are you going to play next?
Well, so long as I'm 18, that's the number I'm playing.
You mean you're leaving all your winnings on the same number?
You bet.
Bet vos jeux. Place your bets, please. Por favor. 18 encore. 18 again. Even, low.
I'm winning a fortune.
Oh, what number are you going to play now?
Well, how old are you, Daddy?
51.
I'll put these chips on. I'll straddle 24 and 27. That adds up to your age, doesn't it?
Bet vos jeux. Place your bets, please. Por favor. 27.
I can't believe it. I've never seen so much money in my whole life. I'm going to cash in all these chips and stop right now.
I wouldn't do that.
Bill, look who's here, Dad. I've been winning a fortune, Bill. Look at all these chips. Count them.
How much has she made, Bill?
Well, at about 23 pesos to the dollar, I'd say you've got over $2,000 right there, Helena.
What about that? Do I know how to gamble?
No, lucky girl.
Do you mind if I put a few chips next to yours, Helena?
Bill, you're still wearing that ring. Please, would you take it off?
Helena, don't start that again. Now tell me, which number shall we play?
Much as she tries to disregard the flashes of fire from the ruby ring, Helena cannot take her eyes away. Colonel William stacks more and more chips beside hers in turn after turn of the wheel. What is the mesmerizing power of that ring? And what will it bring? Light or darkness? We shall hear for ourselves when I return shortly with Act 3.
There's a laxative medicine you should know about. X-Lax pills. Overnight, X-Lax pills gently stimulate your system's own natural rhythm. In the morning, your system takes it from there, comfortably. That's the difference. Because X-Lax pills stimulate your system's own natural rhythm. For occasional use, only as directed.
Now, a powerful anti-itch drug you can buy without a prescription. Bicozine Cream, medical formula for itching. Powerful, use as directed. Bicozine Cream.
Take your contact, take it now. Give your cold to contact.
Before you choose a cold medicine, you should know that no cold tablet, no cold liquid has found the way to give you Contact's continuous relief. One Contact works up to 12 hours. Helps relieve all your congestive symptoms. All day, all night. That's the wonder of Contact.
Give your cold to contact.
Take only as directed.
Pardon me, miss, please.
Hi.
Listen, I'm from the local radio station, and I understand you're the world's first female manhole digger.
Yes, I'm terribly, terribly proud.
You enjoy your work?
Oh, yes, well, except for the headaches, the tension. That's when I take my high blood pressure pill.
But high blood pressure usually has no symptoms.
No symptoms at all, but the tension, every manhole is counting on me.
Well, you may be tense, but high blood pressure is a separate problem.
Yes, that's what my doctor said.
Of course he did.
Oh, she did.
You have to follow your high blood pressure treatment every day, however you feel.
Are you going to put this on the radio?
Sure.
Oh, well, I'd like to say hello to my agent who got me this job and thank my producer and the director.
So be sure to remember to follow your treatment every day. And to learn more, the National High Blood Pressure Education Program urges you to consult your doctor, health department, heart association, or your local high blood pressure education program.
Said Voltaire, it is necessary to succumb to superstitions, which are, more than ourselves, the kings of nations. Is there one country, one place on this planet that does not have its peculiar beliefs? If there is, I haven't found it. A broken mirror, a black cat, 13 at dinner, the list is endless. Small wonder, then, that a ruby ring could be believed to cast an evil spell.
Ah, it's beautiful out here overlooking Tasco at night, isn't it? Look down there, Helena. Recognize those two towers? That's the Santa Prisca Church.
Why did you do it, Bill?
Why did I do what?
I was having such a run of good luck, too.
You're right. Until I came along, you were well ahead.
It's a good thing I cut down on my bets. At least I have 1,700 left.
Well, that's fate. Money always attracts money.
You haven't answered my question.
Which one?
Why did you go on wearing that ring while you played roulette? You were joking about the evil eye. But I bet you, if you'd taken that ring off as I'd asked you to, we would both have won.
Well, good evening, Colonel William. It is a beautiful night up here on the casino balcony. Good evening, Senor.
Juan. Helena, I'd like you to meet my friend Juan Pedrosa.
We have already met.
Oh, yes, so you have. I forgot.
Colonel William, I want my ring back.
Well, let's discuss that some other time, shall we? Not in the moonlight. I don't think our business is of interest to this lady.
Yes, but I warn you, you will be very sorry.
I paid you for it.
But it was not for sale. You took it. You stole it.
You owed me money. I took it in exchange.
You are playing with fire.
What do you mean, Mr. Pedrosa, about the ring?
I told you once before it will not bring happiness. Perhaps it is worth a ransom. One half in Spain, the other on the Colonel's finger. But, my dear Colonel, you will not bring them together.
Well, we shall see, Juan. Now, would you mind leaving us?
No, I am not yet finished. Until the two halves of the stone of Cortez are joined, this ring will go on inspiring violence. Wear it, and it dominates your fate. It cannot be bought. It cannot be sold. Give it back.
Are you quite finished, Juan?
I have warned you. I can do no more.
But, Mr. Pedrosa, if the Colonel should not wear it because it will bring unhappiness, how did you come by it?
Look, Helena, what difference does it make? Juan Pedrosa owed me a considerable sum. The debt is paid. I took the ring in payment.
Senorita, I came by the ring very recently. A man of my country needed money to go away. He left the ring with me.
So it can be bought and sold.
It should not have been. He paid for his mistake.
Who was the man?
His name would mean nothing to you. He had a dark history. He was always too ready with his knife.
Oh, no.
Yes, the day after he took money for it, he was found a few miles south of Tasco at the mouth of the devil. His body at the bottom.
My darling Helena, I must assure you that the death of that man and the ring have no relation. Be sensible.
What did he mean at the mouth of the devil?
Well, it's a stupid name given to a wide opening in the ground by ignorant peasants. On the road to Iguala, there's a large hole right off the highway. They've never been able to close it up. Obviously, the man was trying to escape out of town. He slipped and fell.
A car can disappear into this devil's mouth?
Oh, yes. And cattle and horses, too. It must be an extinct volcano. There's a scientific fact behind everything. Logic, reason.
You're right, Bill. I mustn't be frightened of what I don't understand.
That's my girl. Look, I have a suggestion to make, Helena. Since tomorrow is your last day, I'd like to show you what I believe is the most beautiful spot in all of Mexico.
I won't be here for lunch. Bill's rented a car and he's taking me for a drive into the country. And then we're going to find a spot he knows way up in the mountains and have a picnic.
Well, I wish I could join you, but then I wasn't asked, was I?
Well, tell me truthfully, do you think Bill is crooked in any way? This audit you were talking about.
You want a straight answer?
Yes, I do. Very much.
Well, I think that Bill isn't above taking a shortcut. Now, in some quarters, that's considered good business practices. You see, I trust Bill, but, well, actually, I don't know that much about him. I do know that he's got some Spanish blood, and he served time as a boy with the Spanish guerrilleros fighting Franco. Boy soldier 11.
That explains a lot. I've noticed when he wants his own way, he gets it.
Yes, or takes it. I'm not saying anything against that. Now, he has been a good ally for our sales here in Mexico. Well, is that enough for you?
I guess so.
Any particular reason?
I don't know. I don't know if it's the tropical climate or being cut off from my friends, but I'm attracted to Bill. Seriously.
Well, he's a little old for you, but, yeah, you could do worse.
You mean that?
Honey, have fun at the picnic. Tonight we pack, and tomorrow we fly home.
Well, how's this for a spot, Helena? Let's sit here.
It's a carpet of flowers.
Say, what have you got in this basket? It weighs a ton.
Oh, could one bottle of wine be that heavy? And some fruit and cheese and bread.
This is my kind of picnic, exactly.
Bill, this is the most beautiful place I've ever been to.
And there's a brook a little down ways behind those trees on your right. You should taste that water.
From up here, I bet I can see all of Mexico.
They say it was somewhere near here that Montezuma stood and decided whatever he could see belonged to the Aztec Empire.
And over there to the left?
That's a sheer drop. At the bottom, the old mouth of the devil. Remember that? Take a look over the edge.
No, thanks. Are you hungry? Let's open the basket.
Helena, can I say something first? I don't know where to begin. I know I'm much older than you. On the other hand, perhaps not. When I'm 100, you'll be 68. Helena, I love you, as I've never loved anyone before in my life. I want you to be my wife.
In 2 weeks, can you know someone well enough to say you want to marry them?
More than enough for me. What about you?
I love being with you, Bill, but I guess I don't know you that well yet.
That's all right with me. We'll give it time. That's the way I like to eat. Under the sky on a cloudless day with the girl I love.
I don't think I ever knew how beautiful life could be.
I wish I'd thought to say that. When I think of all the places I've been to since I was a boy and how little peace I found.
In Spain?
In hills just like this. I was an 11-year-old boy, climbing the rocks with a dagger held in my mouth, ready to ambush the enemy. But even after the war and the next one, life's been one long rush and disappointment.
Do you really think a girl as young as I am is the one for you?
Yes, I thought so the day I met you and your father at the airport. You know, I was struck by you. And the day you ran away from Juan Pedrosa's store, I knew how I felt about you. Are you ever going to tell me what happened that day?
Oh, not today. It's too perfect, but I will sometime. I'll have to tell you why I have such a curious feeling against that ring. Oh, I wish you wouldn't wear it, Bill. And yet now, I guess because of what Mr. Pedrosa said, now I've got a kind of superstitious dread that if you part from it, it'll revenge itself on you.
So I'm trapped, am I? Dear me.
I was sure I saw it sparkling last night when the wheel went against us, as if it enjoyed its power.
What an imagination you have, sweetheart.
You were so terribly unlucky.
What have you done with all your wealth, little gambler? $1,700. You hadn't had time to spend it yet.
I have it in my pocketbook. Since last night, I've taken quite a dislike to every dollar. I'm going to give it all away. See? I take it out, and now I lay it all on the grass.
Well, such a sacrifice deserves another. On our wedding day, I promised to send this ring to Madrid as a gift from a happy couple. Until then, my darling Helena, Will you wear it for me? Here, you see? I slip it right off my finger and I put it on yours.
No. I can't wear it. Here. I know. Let's put the ring on the grass next to the banknotes. I wonder if the ring knows where it is. You know, good luck and bad luck side by side. Let's you and I get up right now. Go back down the mountain and leave the ring and the money here.
For anyone to find?
Yes, so we can start fresh. Oh, please, Bill. I really mean it. What is it? Oh, your face is suddenly so dark, like a cloud passed over it.
No. It's your imagination.
Bill, why are you breathing like that? Are you ill? Oh, what is it? What can I do for you?
No, it's nothing. It'll pass off. I'll go down to the brook and get some water. No, you wait here till I come back.
I want to come with you.
You stay here.
How is she now, Doctor?
I've given your daughter a sedative. You can go in. I think she wants to see you.
Helena, I'll draw up a chair and sit myself next to your bed. I meant to ask the doctor if you will be well enough for the trip home tomorrow.
Bill isn't going to come back.
No, honey, quiet. Now, why don't we just wait until tomorrow, huh? I've got us all packed so you can just lie there and sleep off whatever happened. You just tell me about it in the morning.
No, I've got to tell you now. Remember that ruby ring Bill was wearing?
Mm-hmm.
Well, he'd taken it off and put it on the grass. Then I took out all my winnings and put them next to it. And then Bill didn't feel so good, so he went to get some water. He was gone an awfully long time. I guess I closed my eyes, sort of.
Now, Helena, please, honey. Now, turn off the light and you sleep. Telling me all this tonight, you really shouldn't. You'll see. Bill will show up and apologize, and everything will be all right again.
You don't believe me, do you? He's dead. My eyes closed, and then I heard a noise. I opened my eyes, and I looked down at the ring. It was like it was winking at me, on and off, on and off. And then I felt a hand going around my neck. There was a knife in it. I was paralyzed. I couldn't move. And then something made me grab that ring, and I did. And I threw it as far as I ever could towards the edge of the cliff. And the man behind me, he yelled, and he jumped up, and he ran to catch the ring before it fell. Then he sort of missed it and stumbled over the edge. I saw his hands go up crazy, and he fell. And after a minute, there was this awful cry, and then nothing.
Good Lord.
It was Bill.
The man with the knife was Bill?
Yes.
But why? Why?
I don't want to try to know. I really don't.
Many months have passed, and Mexico is far away. And Helena is beginning to live again. The unanswered questions are many. Did the cursed ring have the power of death? Could it influence anyone to violence? Did Bill really have a dagger in his fingers when he put his hand around his loved one's throat? Or what? I shall return shortly.
Maxwell House is coffee you can count on. Maxwell House, good to the last drop. Maxwell House is
good morning.
Maxwell House is
good company.
Good to the last drop. Maxwell House.
Maxwell House, coffee you can count on. Always smells good, always tastes good, always good to the last drop.
Maxwell House is
good coffee.
Good to the last drop. Maxwell House.
Color
color my nails, make them shine. With the shimmering colors you bring, color me up from my fingertips in the latest colors of spring.
Avon's most colorful event of the year starts now, so ask your representative for the colorful details.
Great American Color Me Color, how I love the Lord. With Avon Color, color never looks so good.
When you have a lot of surfaces to clean, grab your partner. Fantastic, the multi-surface spray cleaner. It cleans fiberglass, stainless steel, porcelain, plastic, enamel, vinyl, chrome. Fantastic spray cleaner. Clean surface after surface.
What in the world happened in April? Brought to you by your local Navy recruiter. In April of 1900, the Navy's first submarine, the USS Holland, was commissioned. George Washington was sworn in as our first president in April of 1789 at Federal Hall, New York City. In April of 1909, Navy Commander Robert E. Peary and Matthew Henson reached the North Pole. To find out what's happening in the Navy today, call 800-841-8000, toll-free in the continental United States. In Georgia, call 800-342-5855.
In history and literature, superstition abounds. Listen to King Henry VI accusing Richard. The owl shrieked at thy birth, an evil sign. The night crow cried, abiding luckless time. Dogs howled and hideous tempest shook down trees. Yes, fate can bring one to his knees. Small wonder, then, that if such poets as Shakespeare mesmerize and lead us, that we still follow. But we keep our fingers crossed. Our cast included Kathleen Quinlan, Norman Rose, and Earl Hammond. The entire production was under the direction of Hyman Brown. This is E.G. Marshall inviting you to return to our Mystery Theater for another adventure in the macabre. Until next time, pleasant dreams.
Great if life came with a remote control. You know, you could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind. Like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest.
Uh-oh.
Or that time you forgot to roll up your windows in the car wash.
Fantastic.
Yeah, a remote control would have come in handy then. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes like managing your weight, getting active, stopping smoking, and eating healthier, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. It's easy to learn your risk. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Life doesn't come with a remote control. Yikes! So you're on your own with the wasps. You have the power to take control of prediabetes. Visit doihaveprediabetes.org today. That's doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
Sometimes I just cannot believe all the storms we've gone through here.
I can only hope that we'll be able to leave this house to you one day, baby. You're our legacy.
Planning for these disasters will make sure we're safe, and is the best way to protect that legacy. You know what? We should make an emergency communication plan. That way we're ready this year. At my dorm, we have emergency kits for earthquakes and wildfires, but I'm sure there's something more local I can send you with a link.
Okay, smart.
Protect your legacy. Visit ready.gov/plan for the tools and tips you need to start your emergency preparedness plan today. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council. They are our love bugs and companions. They are our pets, our family, and they make life better. When we face unexpected challenges, so do our pets. That's why we're on a mission to support people and their pets. Whether donating a bag of kibble, sharing an Instagram post of a lost cat, or welcoming a foster pet into your home, every bit of kindness counts. Visit petsandpeopletogether.org to learn how to be a helper in your community. Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
There's danger out there. It lurks on highways and quiet neighborhood streets. It's more likely to kill you than a shark, and more terrifying than the biggest snake. Distracted driving claims lives every day. Every notification, swipe, social post, video, or selfie while driving risks your life. So while you might think public speaking or the zombie apocalypse is scary, what's really terrifying and even deadly is distracted driving. Eyes forward. Don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
More of your favorite episodes from the CBS Radio Mystery Theater are coming next. This is Radio Mystery Theater USA.
The CBS Radio Mystery Theater presents... Come in. Welcome. I'm E.G. Marshall. Are you old enough, and were you lucky enough to have been raised on A Child's Garden of Verses by Robert Louis Stevenson? If so, you must remember the one that began, I have a little shadow that goes in and out with me, and what can be the use of him is more than I can see. Well, in the musings of the very young, a shadow may seem a superfluous, if delightful thing, but in the world of parapsychology, the shadow is full of significance, mysterious, and arcane.
In the morning on sunny days, there was my shadow walking ahead of me. And in the afternoon, if I looked over my shoulder, there it was, right behind me. But then, this wondrous thing happened. And after that, my shadow was with me on the rainy days, too, and indoors, not only outdoors, in the dark just as much as in the light. Why, it's here, even now. After all that's happened, my shadow is right here.
Our mystery drama, The Sinister Shadow, was written especially for the Mystery Theater by Elspeth Eric and stars Terry Keane. It is sponsored in part by Sign-Off, the sinus medicines. I'll be back shortly with Act One.
Hi there, it's me, Marty Robbins.
Oh, Mr. Marty. Charles Emerson Bentley III here. Nice to see you again. I say, are you celebrating Washington's birthday?
Oh, yeah, Chuck. In fact, my wife picked up a bunch of Pickwick Farms' fantastic beef stick summer sausage. You know, they got a special going on from now till Washington's birthday. It's a real deal. You can buy a whole beef stick summer sausage for only $3.29 a pound. And, of course, she got a bunch of the different cheese. They've got over 126 kinds. And we're going to take all of that over to the 4-H Hall for a good old Washington's birthday square dance.
Smashing, Mr. Marty. My wife Bunny and I might just drop by for a few, how do you say, do-si-don'ts or do-si-dos?
Hot dog, I'm proud to be a Hickory Farms boy.
Hickory Farms of Ohio. Sample any of our special event foods, including 126 kinds of cheese.
All right, it's question and answer time. I know the questions, you know the answers, or do you? First question, who is the detective hero created by a famous female British mystery writer?
I don't know.
Right. Second question, which author was the creator of Sam Spade and a close friend of Lillian Hellman?
Martin Mayonnaise.
Correct for 1,000 bobolinks. Third question, what is the name of the greatest killer of all time?
Oh, Al Capone.
Bugsy Malone.
Bonnie and Clyde? Bullets.
Correct for 1,000 bobolinks.
The greatest killer of all time is heart and blood vessel disease. It's no joke. More people die of heart and blood vessel disease each year than of all other causes of death combined. We'd like to change that. We're the American Heart Association. Call us to find out where free blood pressure screenings are being held. Remember, we're fighting for your life.
There are 23 separate definitions of the word shadow in Webster's International Dictionary. If you wish, you may read them all. But for our immediate purpose, we have selected definition number 8. A reflected image, as in a mirror or in water. Listen carefully to what follows, and you will understand why we selected this definition.
I'll tell you how it all started. I mean, that is, if you're interested.
Sure, I'm interested.
I don't know why you should be.
Well, I am.
It would kind of help me to clear up the whole thing in my head.
So tell me.
It was the darndest thing. I was on my way home from the bank. I'm a teller at the bank. It doesn't pay much, but it's a respectable kind of job, not like some,
Sure.
I was walking east on Lake Street. It was about 3:30, and I was looking at my shadow. See, I always walk with my head down. It's a terrible habit, but anyhow, that's the way I generally walk. And for some reason, I heard my mother's voice, the way I'd heard it about 1,000,000 times.
Stand up straight, for heaven's sake.
She was always saying that to me. Dory, for heaven's sake, stand up straight.
Don't slump.
Dory, don't slump, she'd say.
Throw your shoulders back. Stand erect.
Stand erect, Dory. Throw your shoulders back, Dory. Oh, how many times I'd heard her say that.
Yeah? Then what?
Well, I looked at my shadow and... my goodness, I looked like a dwarf or something. I could hardly see my head at all, and I didn't seem to have any shoulders. So, I straightened up. I threw my shoulders back, and I pulled in my stomach, and I held my head high, and I started taking long steps, swinging my arms.
And?
And I walked that way for, half a block maybe. But then I looked down at my shadow.
And?
My shadow still looked like a dwarf. All hunched over, no head showing, hardly any shoulders. You believe me, don't you?
Whatever you say.
Well, you can imagine how surprised I was.
Sure.
I mean, there I was, standing erect, and my shadow was all hunched over. I couldn't understand it. I was flabbergasted.
Naturally.
Now, it so happened that I was standing right in front of a bar and grill. I'm not in the habit of going into those places, but I was I was really shook up.
Sure you were.
So I went in. It seemed like a nice place. There were not very many people. After all, it was the middle of the afternoon.
Uh-huh.
And I didn't know if to sit at a table or what. I really didn't know what I was doing there exactly. But then I saw a woman sitting at the bar. She was by herself, too. I'd heard that women do that these days, or I read it somewhere, so I thought, well, I'll go and I'll sit next to her. That way nobody will think I'm trying to pick up a man, you know.
Uh-huh.
So I hopped up on the stool next to her, and I just sat there, wondering what had happened to my shadow.
Excuse me.
What? Uh-oh, were you speaking to me?
I think the bartender wants to know what you want to drink.
Oh, what are you drinking?
I'm having a glass of white wine.
Oh, well, I'll have that.
She'll have a glass of white wine.
People seem to be drinking that a lot these days.
It's fashionable. A glass of white wine sounds very ladylike.
Yes, I guess it does.
It shows right away you're not a drunken dame.
I guess so.
On the other hand, you're not a prude. Not above lifting one on occasion. Oh, here's yours. Shall we?
What?
Lift one.
Oh, sure.
To the future. Whatever it is. You like it?
Oh, what?
Like the wine.
Oh, yes. I've had wine before. Several times.
I never have guessed.
Oh, beer, too.
No fooling.
Oh, yes.
Look, am I bothering you? You want me to shut up?
No.
I talk too much sometimes. I can't seem to help it. I just go on, and it drives some people crazy. I can't seem to stop myself. So just tell me.
No, it's not that. It's just...
You don't have to listen to me.
No, I am listening.
The way you keep staring in the mirror.
That's just it.
What is? What's it?
Look in the mirror. Don't you see?
See what?
You and me, side by side.
So?
We look alike.
We do?
Don't you see? You must see. We're doubles.
Why, yes. So we are.
It was true. We looked exactly alike, and when she really looked at me, she could see it, too. Of course, nobody would notice it right away because, her clothes were very, very, mod. Isn't that what they say?
They used to.
Well, she had on blue jeans, very tight, very, revealing.
Uh-huh.
And then this top, kind of a magenta color, cut down to here. And these masses and masses of gold chains. And her hair, it was like light blonde, like mine, but all in tiny little curls. She told me later she'd had a permanent, but it certainly looked wonderful, sort of lighted up her face, you know?
Uh-huh.
Well, we got very friendly. Yes, we did. We really did. I told her all about what happened with my shadow, and she listened, and every once in a while she nodded her head and acted like she believed every word I was saying. Really.
Well, sure.
I've always heard that everybody has a double somewhere in the world, but I'd never met mine. Have you met yours?
No, I haven't.
Well, wait till you do. It will change your whole life. It certainly changed mine.
Certainly has.
I told her all about my mother, about hearing my mother's voice. Stand up straight, Dory. Don't slump, Dory. She understood that, too. It was really amazing.
I can imagine.
All of a sudden, I realized I'd been sitting there for almost an hour going on and on about all these things, and my mother must be wondering what on earth had become of me because, usually I come straight home from the bank, and it was almost 5 o'clock.
Yeah? So?
So I knew I'd get holy heck for being late because I always have to get the dinner. My mother does the shopping, but I get the dinner. So I jumped up all of a sudden and said goodbye in a hurry and went out. But this time...
Yeah? This time?
This time, I walked with my head up and my shoulders back. I stood up very tall and took long steps.
And?
And this time, my shadow was very tall, too. My shadow held up its head and took long steps all the way home.
Dory, it's me. Where in the name of heaven have you been? Do you know what time it is? Nearly 5 o'clock. Where were you?
I was detained.
Detained? They detained you at the bank?
Not at the bank.
Then where? You never go anyplace that I know of.
I just stopped to talk to somebody.
Did you forget I have guests coming for dinner?
Well, I guess I did.
The Swensons are coming, and the Morrisons. Oh, and the Morrison's son, Gordon. I think his name is. Remember him?
I don't know if I do.
Well, he got married about 10 years ago and moved out of town. But now he's getting a divorce. I thought maybe... look, I've put the ham in the oven. I thought I'd better when you didn't show up.
How big is it?
12 pounds.
18 minutes per pound.
At $3.50?
No, you start at $1.50 internal temp.
Well, you go take a look at it.
In a minute. I want to tell you about...
Dora, you'll have to make the sauce. I have no conception.
It is just prepared mustard and currant jelly.
Well, you take care of it.
Mother, I met somebody on the way home.
A man? You met a man?
No, a woman.
Oh, listen... About this Gordon Morrison, I understand his marriage wasn't too happy. Now, there weren't any children, so there won't be any trouble about the divorce. I believe he's a certified public accountant.
Mother, I want to tell you about
He's moving back here to live. A good CPA never has any trouble getting established, so I'm told.
Mother?
He's just your age, Dory. Give a year or two.
I wish you would listen.
Dory, what I am getting at is... This is a chance for you.
Oh, Mother.
You're almost 36.
I wish you would...
Now, at dinner, please, don't sit there like a lump. Please don't. Say things. Join in. Be a part of the conversation. Be animated. The dinner will be good. We know that. And I'll make sure they know you cooked it. You'll make spoon bread, won't you?
Yes, sir.
But you have to do more than that. You have to act like you're having a good time, like you're enjoying yourself. Do you understand?
Yes.
Maybe if you took a drink. That often helps. I know it helps me. It helps most people. Now, do you think you could do that?
I could do that.
A cocktail, maybe.
I think maybe a glass of white wine. Maybe 2. I sat there like a lump. Once in a while, I'd think of something to say about something, but by the time I got around to saying it, they were talking about something else, you know.
I think I do.
Of course, they raved about the food. I really am a good cook.
I'll bet you are.
But I was all shut up in a cocoon, sort of. I couldn't get out.
Uh-huh.
And I could feel my mother getting madder and madder and more disgusted with me. But I couldn't do anything about it. I didn't blame her.
No?
No, because to her, everything comes so easy, always has. She laughs a lot, smiles. She can talk about anything practically. The words just roll out of her mouth. She doesn't have to try to make an effort. It all just kind of comes naturally to her, and she can't see why it doesn't come naturally to me.
You're shy.
I guess you could call it being shy. I don't know. I just get sort of paralyzed when I have to talk to people. I want to go away or die or something.
You're talking to me.
Oh, yes, but...
But what?
You know all about my double.
Oh.
Do you know what I did the very next day? I went out and I had my hair cut short.
Oh?
And then I had a permanent. You like it, don't you?
Sure. It's nice.
Now I look exactly like her.
I'm going to bring you a comb. You can run it through those pretty blonde curls.
Why? Do I look awful?
No, you don't look awful at all. But you could stand a little sprucing up.
Okay.
You'll be going upstairs in a little while. You'll want to look your very best for that. It's important.
How would you feel if suddenly you came face to face with someone who looked exactly like yourself? How would you react? Would you advance happily thinking, why, what an attractive person? Or would you back off a bit thinking, what a loathsome creature? Not knowing what my own immediate response would be, I am content that my double should go his way while I go mine, and that we should be destined never to meet. I'll be back with Act 2 shortly.
I had it when I woke up this morning. Sinus, my worst ever, until I took Sign-Off.
Send for Sign-Off.
Sign-Off gives you all the pain relief of aspirin, plus relief from sinus pressure, congestion, even postnasal drip.
Send for Sign-Off.
And for the fastest known form of congestion relief, Sign-Off Spray, Sineoff.
Sign-Off.
The sinus medicines in the bright red box.
Is here.
For occasional use only as directed.
At the drugstore, they told me there's a powerful anti-itch drug I can buy without a doctor's prescription.
Now I use Bicozine cream as directed. No more burning, embarrassing itching. No more scratching. Bicozine actually speeds healing. Bicozine cream. What a relief.
Now you can soften hard, calloused skin without painful cutting or scraping. Apply stainless Dermasoft cream to your feet as directed. Insist on Dermasoft cream. I'm giving it up.
Giving up what?
Smoking.
Congratulations.
I'm doing it for you and the kids.
For me and the kids? But we don't smoke.
You're wrong. I saw this Lung Association message. You know what? We smokers are making you non-smokers smokers just like us.
Whatever are you talking about?
I'm talking about secondhand smoking. The Lung Association says I'm doing myself in as if I didn't know, but my smoke is trouble for everybody in my neighborhood. Do you realize every puff I smoke, I'm puffing out a smoke screen of carbon monoxide, nicotine, benzopyrene, to say nothing of hydrocarbons.
Ooh, you sound positively poisonous.
I feel poisonous. I'm quitting.
For me, darling.
Yes, and for me, darling, I want to be loved.
Your lung association says the smoker who quits for more than one person. He's clearing the air for everybody. You might say it's a matter of love and breath.
I said before that in case I do have a double, that there actually is another E.G. Marshall roaming the earth, I hoped that we would never meet. But fate has a way of ignoring our hopes, and that has set me to wondering, if we did meet, we two, would we get along? Would I like him? Would he like me? Or would we dislike each other intensely and even become enemies? I think I'll return to my first position. Let him go his way. I'll go mine.
You really like my hair this way?
I really do.
It's exactly like hers.
You just need to run a comb through it.
Well, you said you'd bring me one.
I will.
How about the blue jeans? You don't think I look silly in them?
No, not a bit.
My mother thought they were okay. She liked them. She liked my haircut, too.
That's nice.
No, not really.
Why not?
She had the wrong idea entirely. She didn't understand. You see, I couldn't tell her about meeting my double.
You couldn't?
Well, no. It was such a remarkable thing. I wasn't sure she'd believe me.
Maybe she would have.
Oh, no. She hardly ever believed me about anything. And she'd never believed I'd met my double. And if I told her, she might try to do something about it.
Like what, for instance?
Well, forbid me to see her, for one thing.
But you're 36 years old.
Oh, that wouldn't have made any difference to my mother. No, she would have found a way.
Like what?
Oh, I don't know. It was very important to me to be able to see my double. I saw her every day.
You did?
In the same bar and grill, sitting on those same two stools, drinking white wine. Oh, it was lovely, you know?
Uh-huh.
The only thing was, it made me late getting home. And my mother didn't like that. Not one bit.
Dory?
It's me.
Do you realize it's 5 o'clock?
It is?
Yes, it is. I suppose the bank detained you.
I was detained.
But not by the bank.
No, not by the bank.
Well, who then? Who detained you? Dory, are you seeing somebody behind my back?
What'd you get for dinner?
Chopped meat.
Enough for a meatloaf?
Dory, are you seeing a man?
I need 2 pounds for a meatloaf.
Who is he? Somebody at the bank?
No.
Well, where did you meet him? You never go anyplace. You didn't pick him up on the street, did you?
No.
Girls do that all the time these days.
I am not a girl.
You just better bet you're not. Listen, Dory, if he's a nice man, you know how much I want you to meet a nice man.
I know.
Nothing could make me happier. And with your new haircut and those jeans and that top, well, there's no reason why you shouldn't meet some nice man. And where are you going?
I'm going to make the meatloaf.
I want to know who this man is. I want to know where you met him. And I want to know where you see him every afternoon. Why don't you see him in the evening? Is he married? Is that why? Are you seeing a married man on the sly?
No.
Then why don't you bring him home here so I can meet him? What is he, some kind of crook?
No.
Then what's wrong with him that your own mother can't meet him?
Mother, I am not going to discuss this with you anymore. I'm going to make the meatloaf. I couldn't explain to her. She'd have wanted to meet my double. And that would have spoiled everything.
Why?
Well, because when you have a double, it's a very strange thing. It's not something you share with anybody. It's very personal and private, and it's not something you talk about. Not even to your own mother, especially to your own mother. It's your secret. Your very own secret. Your most precious secret. I don't know how to explain it to you if you don't know.
That's all right.
But you see, she kept after me every day when I came home from the bar and grill. It got worse. She said she'd have me followed. She'd hire a detective and have me followed. She said she'd report me to the bank manager. She said she'd throw me out of the house. She said everything. And every day it got worse and worse till I could hardly stand it. If it hadn't been for my double and seeing her every day, I think I'd have gone crazy. But you see, I could talk to her about it, and she would be very sympathetic, and we'd drink our white wine, and I'd feel better, and I'd go home. But it was always the same thing as soon as I got there.
Oh, get in here.
What's the matter?
I watched you coming down the street.
What for?
You're a whole different person, you know that?
I know.
You don't walk all slumped over the way you used to. You hold your head up. You're 36 years old, and all of a sudden you walk like a human being. Now, what I want to know is what is the cause of all this? Or should I say, who's the cause of it all? I know you get out of the bank 3:30 at the latest. You've been getting home later and later, 5:30. Now, Dory, I know perfectly well you are not walking around by yourself or sitting in the library because I smell liquor on your breath. You spend your time drinking with somebody.
Just a little white wine. I never get drunk. You've never seen me come home drunk. 2 little glasses of white wine, and that's all.
I never said you got drunk. I said you spend an hour or an hour and a half drinking with somebody. Now, I'm sick and tired of asking you who it is you're meeting on the sly. I'm your mother, and I've a right to know. Now, you look me straight in the eye and tell me who it is. Dory? Who is it?
Just somebody.
I know it's somebody. I want to know what somebody. It's nobody we know because I've asked all over town.
You asked people?
Well, how else am I going to find out? Not that I found out anything. A couple of people said they saw you go into the bar and grill on Lake Street a few times, but they never saw you with anybody.
You asked people about me?
Well, who do you meet in that bar and grill? Dory, are you going to tell me? I'll have to shake it out of you.
Mother, don't let me go.
I'll let you go and you tell me. Now, who is it?
My double. It's my double.
You're what?
Everybody has a double. Most people don't meet theirs, but I did. She was sitting at the bar.
What? What did you just say?
She was sitting at the bar.
You've been meeting a woman?
We look exactly alike.
You mean to stand there and tell me you've been getting drunk every day with a woman?
Not drunk.
A man, maybe?
A glass of wine.
Oh, but this is crazy.
It is not.
It's weird.
No, she's my double. She's like a twin, only it's better.
She's wicked. That's what she is.
She is not. Don't say that.
And so are you.
Don't say that or I'll kill you.
To think that my daughter...
I swear I'll...
My very...
Shut up, daughter! I will kill you! I was shaking all over. I was so angry.
Sure you were.
To think my own mother, my very own mother, would say such things about me. That she would even think them. It was horrible.
Of course.
And talking about her that way, she'd never even met her. Never even seen her.
Uh-huh.
She knew that I'd never... She knew me. She knew I would never... Oh, she should have known anyway.
I understand.
I got away from her and I ran out of the house. I couldn't possibly have stayed there. I just couldn't, because when I said I'd kill her, I meant it. I really did. I didn't know how I'd do it, but I knew I'd do it if I stayed there. So I ran out of the house. She was still standing in the doorway, screaming at me, saying awful things. I just ran down the street. I didn't know where I was going. I didn't have any idea where to go. I just ran. And all of a sudden, I was on Lake Street, in front of the bar and grill. And there she was.
Your double?
Yes. I could see her through the window. She was sitting at the bar just the way I'd left her. Oh, maybe an hour before. And there she was with a glass of wine in front of her. And I was so relieved to see her. The only person in the entire world I could talk to. So I opened the door, and I went in. Oh, you're still here?
What's the matter?
Oh, I'm so glad.
Oh, sit down. You're all out of breath.
Yes, I've been running all over town.
Sit down. You want some wine?
I don't think so.
Here, drink the rest of mine.
I thought you'd probably left by now.
I left when you did, but I came back.
You must have known I'd need you. Oh, listen. I had the most awful row with my mother.
What about?
You know she's been trying to find out who I've been seeing after banking hours.
Yes, I know.
And she's kept after me and after me. She thought I'd picked up with some man, some disreputable man that I was ashamed to bring home so she could meet him. And she said she'd hire a detective.
You told me.
And this time she said she'd been asking all over town different people if they'd seen me with anybody. Can you imagine that? I mean, that's like opening my mail, reading my private letters. I simply could not believe she'd do a thing like that. And then she grabbed hold of me by the arms. And she started to shake me hard, and she hurt me, and she wouldn't let me go. She said she'd shake the truth out of me.
Yes?
I had to make her stop. So I told her. I said it was you.
Yes?
Oh, not your name, because I don't know your name, but I said I was meeting my double, that everybody has a double, and I was so lucky that I had met mine.
Yes?
And then she really started to scream at me. She said I was wicked, and you were wicked, and crazy, and weird. And when she said that, it was like the top of my head just blew off. And I yelled back at her. I told her to shut up or I'd kill her. Yes, I said that. And I meant it.
It's all right, really.
And I would have if I hadn't gotten out of there.
Really, it's all right.
And if I go back there, I will.
There's no need to do that. I've already killed her myself.
She was so calm when she said it. I've already killed her myself. She said it like it was nothing.
Uh-huh.
And the peculiar thing was, it made me feel like it was nothing, too.
Really?
Yes. It seemed perfectly natural, perfectly logical. Like she'd done the only sensible thing.
Then what?
Well, we sat there and drank a little more wine and talked some, very quietly. And then I came here.
You did the right thing.
I hope so.
Absolutely. Say, I told you I'd bring you a comb, and I haven't done it. Why don't I go fetch one now?
Oh, don't leave me.
I'll be right back.
I don't want to be alone. This is the first time I've told anybody, and I don't want to be alone.
Well, it won't take a minute.
Please?
Then you can fix yourself up a little before I take you upstairs.
A most efficient double, wouldn't you say? One capable of strong, direct, even violent action. and at the same time able to bring peace of mind and serenity and the conviction that everything has been for the best. Now, if I could be sure of having a double like that... Oh, but no. So far, I don't think I want to take the chance. I'll be back shortly with Act 3.
Maxwell House's coffee you can count on. Maxwell House, good to the last drop. Maxwell House, it really gets you going. Maxwell House, good to the last drop. Maxwell House is...
Good morning.
Maxwell House is...
A good starter.
Good to the last drop. Maxwell House. Maxwell House is...
A good friend.
Maxwell House is...
Good company.
Good to the last drop. Maxwell House.
Maxwell House. Coffee you can count on. Always smells good. Always tastes good. Every Maxwell House coffee, always good to the last drop.
Maxwell House is...
Good taste.
Maxwell House is...
Good times.
Good to the last drop. Maxwell House. Maxwell House is...
Good relaxing.
Maxwell House is...
Good coffee.
Good to the last drop. Maxwell House.
Here's a tip from your Better Business Bureau. Are you in the market for a used car? If you are, it would be wise to shop around until you get a feel for the market. It's important for you to find out if the car is covered by a warranty. A used car warranty is limited. For example, it may cover the first 1,000 miles or 30 days. Remember, however, the warranty is as good as the dealer who backs it. And you check his reliability with your local Better Business Bureau. Also, remember that careful inspection is the key to enjoying a used car. Be sure and look for rust. Check the tires, the shock absorbers, and the operating controls. And incidentally, it's also a good idea to take a test drive. You see, by giving the car the once-over before you buy it, you're protecting yourself against a faulty purchase and a lot of headaches after you've bought it. This has been a tip from your Better Business Bureau.
I said before that I still do not wish to meet my double. But now it occurs to me, were I to meet him, would I recognize him? Offhand, you'd say, of course. How could you fail to recognize a replica of yourself? But consider this. Do I really know what I look like? I think I do. It's a very familiar face. But have I ever really seen it? Is it possible ever to see it? I'm not sure that it is.
Thank you for the comb.
Don't mention it. See that you use it.
Oh, I will, right now.
We'll be going upstairs in about 20 minutes. So fix yourself up, you hear?
What's upstairs?
You'll see.
I wonder what's upstairs. I wonder...
Hello, Dory.
Oh, it's you.
How are you?
I was just going to comb my hair.
It needs it.
Nobody told me you were here.
Nobody knows. Are you glad to see me?
I think so.
You're not sure?
What about my mother?
What about her?
How did you do it?
I think I hit her with a chair.
Don't you know?
You know that little chair that stands in the front hall just to the left of the door?
Yes.
I picked that up and I held it up high and then I brought it down hard on the top of her head. Yes, that's what I did.
I could never have done that.
And then I choked her, just to make sure.
You did? Really?
Then when I was quite sure she was dead, I went back to the bar and grill.
You didn't even seem upset or anything.
Why should I have been? It was the only thing to do.
I suppose so.
There was no other way out.
But just the same, to kill a person...
People get killed all the time. People kill people all the time.
Not people I know.
Just the same it happens.
I guess so. I know I read about it in the papers, but...
So why shouldn't it happen to you?
To my mother, you mean? I didn't do it.
No, of course you didn't. I did.
That's right.
Do you think I'm a terrible person because I did it?
Well,
when we were sitting in the bar and grill on Lake Street, you didn't seem to think I was so terrible.
No.
So why do you think I'm so terrible now?
I don't know if I do.
That's the way you're acting. You're being very critical.
But she was my mother.
Exactly.
Sometimes I don't understand you at all.
No?
I thought we were doubles.
We are.
Then why don't I understand what you're saying?
I don't know. It's really very exasperating.
You're not mad at me?
Not yet.
I mean, you won't leave me?
Not yet.
Not ever. Don't leave me ever.
Dory.
What is it?
I brought you some hot water. Now wash your hands and face. Haven't you combed your hair yet?
Oh, I was just going to.
Look, I'm putting this bowl of hot water down here. Now, there's a washcloth and a piece of soap. Use them.
I will.
Oh, before I forget.
What are you doing?
Taking down the mirror.
What are you doing that for?
Orders from upstairs.
You're always talking about upstairs. What is upstairs?
You'll find out soon enough.
Are you mad at me?
Do I sound mad?
Kind of.
Well, I'm not. Now, you wash your face and hands before that water gets cooled off. I'm going to check and see when they'll be ready for you.
Who?
The people upstairs.
Who are they?
Look, they're very nice, really. You don't have to be afraid of them. They mean well. They've got your best interests at heart. Believe me.
Why would they want to take my mirror away?
Just a precaution. They were afraid of what you might do.
Do? I wouldn't do anything.
No, of course you wouldn't.
Then why?
Better safe than sorry, and that's how they figure. Now listen, I'm going to go upstairs and check on how soon they'll be ready to see you. Meantime, you wash up, okay?
Okay.
I'll be back in a few minutes.
What is she talking about? They're going to do anything? Where's the soap? Oh, here.
Hello.
Oh, I thought you'd gone away.
Not at all.
Look, if I said anything to make you angry...
You were very snippy.
I was?
About my killing your mother.
Well, after all...
You're getting very holier than thou all of a sudden.
I don't mean to.
Sitting in the bar and grill, you seem very pleased at what I'd done.
Yes.
After all, I did it for you. She was your mother, not mine. I didn't know her from a hole in the wall. She meant absolutely nothing to me.
She did to me.
Oh, the way you talked, I'd never have guessed.
That was just talking.
You wanted to kill her, you told me
that
so.
That was talk. Don't you understand? That
Pretty
was talk.
serious talk.
I would have never done it. Never. I wouldn't have.
Of course you wouldn't have. That's why I did it for you.
I'm going to tell them you did it.
You are?
You don't mind?
What can they do to me?
They will catch you. I'll tell them what you look like, and they'll go after you, and they'll catch you.
What will you tell them I look like?
Well,
What do I look like? Come on. Take a close look. Now, tell me, what do I look like?
You look just like me.
Of course. We're doubles.
Okay, now, you ready? Because they're ready for you.
What?
You haven't even washed your face.
No,
The water's not even warm. Why did I go to all the trouble to bring you hot water?
Well, you're not going to throw it out?
Well, what good is it now? You haven't combed your hair either. What have you been doing while I was out of the room?
My double was here. I was talking to her.
Oh, I see, your double. Well, how did things go with your double?
Not very well.
Oh, in what way?
We had a kind of a quarrel.
I see.
We're not getting along.
Look, it's time we were getting upstairs. So come on. You'll have to go as you are because they do not like to be kept waiting.
You said the people upstairs, they were nice?
They are. Basically, very nice. Now, come on. Turn right here. That's it.
What will they do to me?
They won't do anything. They'll just talk to you. The stairs are straight ahead. We have to walk up. And, of course, they'll want you to talk to them. Come on, up we go.
What will I talk to them about?
Oh, almost anything. Anything you've got on your mind.
Should I talk to them about my mother?
If you feel like it.
Should I tell them she's dead?
If that's what you feel like telling them.
I think I'll tell them that.
Okay.
And something else I'll tell them.
What's that?
I'll tell them who did it.
It's one more flight up.
Okay.
You're going to tell them about your double?
Yes, definitely. I'm going to tell them she killed my mother.
All right.
You think it's okay to tell them that?
I think it's exactly what you should tell them.
Of course, if I tell them, I may not ever see her again.
Oh? Why not?
Well, when you were out of the room and I was talking to her, I got the feeling she didn't want me to tell anybody. Of course, I'd already told you, but you wouldn't tell, would you?
Certainly not.
She said she did it for me.
Uh-huh.
And I understand that. But I didn't ask her to. Did I?
Look, here we are. This is the room. They're waiting for us.
I'm scared. I don't want to go in.
Now, there's nothing to be afraid of.
But I don't know these people.
They're very nice, really. You'll like them.
No, I won't, and they won't like me.
Yes, they will.
They think I killed my mother, and they'll ask me all about it, and it'll be awful. No, I don't want to do it.
Dory, stop it. Now, you just stop it.
I know. I won't do it. You hit me. You hit me.
I want you to listen to what I have to say. Listen to me carefully. Do you understand?
Yes.
You are going into that room with me, and you are going to tell those people in there exactly what you told me. Start to finish. Got that?
I can't.
Those people in there are doctors, Dory. They want to help you.
They're not policemen?
Whatever gave you the idea they were policemen?
I just thought...
Well, you thought wrong. And there's something else I'm going to tell you. Something I'm not supposed to tell you because I'm just a nurse here. But I'm going to tell you anyway. There are 3 doctors in that room. 2 are men and 1's a woman. And there is some possibility that there'll be another woman in there with them. Your mother.
My mother's dead.
Your mother is not
My
dead.
double, she killed her. She hit her over the head with a chair, and then she choked her. She did it for me. My mother's dead.
Your mother is very much alive, and there isn't a mark on her. Now, are you ready to go in there?
Okay.
Wait a second. Look at your shadow. All hunched over. Aren't you ashamed? That's it. No, you're standing tall. And your shadow is, too. All right, Dory. Go on in. Nobody is going to hurt you.
Now you know. Dory's double lived in her shadow. Then in her image reflected from the big mirror behind the bar. Later, a reproduction of herself in the small hospital mirror where she combed her hair. And finally, her own face seen in a bowl of water. So she got a glimpse of a second self, strong and competent, and possessing the capacity for rage, even murder. I'll be back shortly.
Yes. Theoretically, an earthquake of a certain intensity at the right place could carry the state of California into the sea. Read Goodbye, California by Alistair MacLean, the story of a fanatical terrorist whose ability to detonate an atomic bomb gives him the ultimate blackmail weapon, earthquake. An earthquake so monstrous it could mean Goodbye, California. The authorities are helpless, but one man alone, a super cop driven by a personal motive, races to meet the terrorist head-on, a race that must be won, or else it's Goodbye, California. Read Goodbye, California by Alistair MacLean, a story of daring, danger, and the threat of a doomsday that could happen tomorrow. If you enjoy suspense, get set for a thrilling experience, because you are going to live that experience in Goodbye, California by Alistair MacLean, now in paperback from Fawcett.
So, maybe I do believe that I have a double, and that he and I have a rendezvous somewhere, sometime. And he will have qualities I never suspected in myself. Some pleasant, perhaps. Perhaps others very, very unpleasant indeed. I wonder, am I ready for this encounter? Not today, no. Maybe tomorrow, or the next day, or the day after that, or, well, someday. Our cast included Terry Keane, Grace Matthews, and Joan Shea. The entire production was under the direction of Hyman Brown. And now, a preview of our next tale.
I keep telling myself it's a lover's quarrel, they'll make up, and everything will be all right.
Yeah, well, that's not what Susan says. It's off, over, finished. I asked her to give any reason, and she just shook her head and went up to her room to cry. Listen, I'm not hanging around this town any longer. Everything about it gives me the creeps. My sister gets kicked in the teeth, and my pop says, well. Well, I don't see it that way. She can't protect herself. But I am not letting that guy get away with it. Horace, Mayor Greeley.
I'm coming. What? Harry, what are you doing here at 5:30 in the morning all dolled up in your police chief's outfit?
You'd better get yourself dressed, Horace, and hurry.
Well, would you mind telling me why?
There's been a murder.
This is E.G. Marshall inviting you to return to our Mystery Theater for another adventure in the macabre. Until next time, pleasant dreams.
Great if life came with a remote control. You know, you could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind. Like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest.
Uh-oh.
Or that time you forgot to roll up your windows in the car wash.
Fantastic.
Yeah, a remote control would have come in handy then. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome. But prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes like managing your weight, getting active, stopping smoking, and eating healthier, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. It's easy to learn your risk. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Life doesn't come with a remote control. Yikes! So you're on your own with the wasps. You have the power to take control of prediabetes. Visit doihaveprediabetes.org today. That's doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
Sometimes I just cannot believe all the storms we've gone through here.
I can only hope that we'll be able to leave this house to you one day, baby. You're our legacy.
Planning for these disasters will make sure we're safe, and is the best way to protect that legacy. You know what? We should make an emergency communication plan. That way we're ready this year. At my dorm, we have emergency kits for earthquakes and wildfires, but I'm sure there's something more local I can send you with a link.
Okay, smart.
Protect your legacy. Visit ready.gov/plan for the tools and tips you need to start your emergency preparedness plan today. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council. They are our love bugs and companions. They are our pets, our family, and they make life better. When we face unexpected challenges, so do our pets. That's why we're on a mission to support people and their pets. Whether donating a bag of kibble, sharing an Instagram post of a lost cat, or welcoming a foster pet into your home, every bit of kindness counts. Visit petsandpeopletogether.org to learn how to be a helper in your community. Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
There's danger out there. It lurks on highways and quiet neighborhood streets. It's more likely to kill you than a shark, and more terrifying than the biggest snake. Distracted driving claims lives every day. Every notification, swipe, social post, video, or selfie while driving risks your life. So while you might think public speaking or the zombie apocalypse is scary, what's really terrifying and even deadly is distracted driving. Eyes forward, don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Up next from the CBS Radio Mystery Theater is another tale from the macabre. This is Radio Mystery Theater USA.
The CBS Radio Mystery Theater presents... Come in. Welcome. I'm E.G. Marshall. A savage place, as holy and enchanted as air beneath a waning moon, was haunted by a woman wailing for her demon lover. A woman wailing for her demon lover. How poignantly the poet puts it. But are there demon lovers? And are there women who fall in love with them? Surely this is the stuff of legend and myth. And yet, there are things that simply cannot be explained. For all of our test tubes and computers, we still don't have every answer, do we?
You mean we shall actually see the tiger from up here in the tree?
Yes, and I shall shoot him as he passes below.
But why should he pass by here?
Well, he's after the goat. The one down there.
Oh, poor creature. Why doesn't he run away?
We can't. He's tied to a stake in the ground.
But the tiger will kill him.
An unfortunate necessity.
Oh, no. Oh, no. I shall not permit it.
Louise, where are you going?
I intend to free that
Louise,
goat.
you can't go down there. Come back here. Louise!
Our mystery drama, The Love God, was written especially for the Mystery Theater by Sam Dan and stars Marion Seldes and Court Benson. It is sponsored in part by True Value Hardware Stores and ARM, Allergy Relief Medicine. I'll be back shortly with Act One.
Hi, Pat Summerall for True Value Hardware Stores. There's really no secret to what makes True Test Weatherall acrylic latex house paint look good on your house for so long. It's the acrylic latex. Acrylic latex protects Weatherall's rich colors from fading while it lets moisture escape to resist peeling and cracking. And right now, True Test Weatherall is just $9.97 a gallon. True Value Hardware Stores are also offering True Test Woodsman Solid Color Latex Stain for just $6.97 a gallon. It hides like paint, accents like stain, as it fights fading and blistering on rough or smooth wood. Both Woodsman and Weatherall have earned the Good Housekeeping seal, and now get True Test Weatherall for just $9.97 a gallon and True Test Woodsman for just $6.97 a gallon during Paint and Save Value Days until September the 9th, only at participating True Value Hardware Stores and home centers. And save gas. You won't have to drive far for your hardware and houseware needs. If you're looking for value, service, and selection, you'll find them nearby at any one of the more than 5,000 True Value Hardware Stores and home centers nationwide.
Gentlemen, good morning. If you read my memo, you know that from now on you will all be reading the Wall Street Journal. Now, I intend to keep this company well in the black, and I expect each of you to be well informed and operating at top efficiency.
Great idea, sir. I've noticed that some people read just the business section of their newspapers.
Right you are, Grubbs. Only the Wall Street Journal has complete business coverage and in-depth analysis. We need the Journal's incisive behind-the-scenes reporting on the competition, business issues, foreign markets. Get the idea? The Journal gives you all the business news you need.
All the business news you need, guys.
When you need it.
When you need it, guys.
Grubbs, I like the way you think.
Have the Journal delivered to your home or office every business day. A full year for only $55. 30 weeks for just $33. Call toll-free 800-358-9999. That's 800-358-9999. The Wall Street Journal. All the business news you need. When you need it.
East is east, and west is west, and never the twain shall meet, said Mr. Kipling. But he knew better than that, because they did meet for many years in that vast, mysterious universe of a country called India. India with its kaleidoscope of religions, races, and languages. India, where there is so much myth and so much reality, it's almost impossible to tell one from the other. Or are they both one and the same? This is a story that took place at a time when India was known as the British Raj. A lady and gentleman are sitting on a veranda. Did you know that veranda is an Indian word? They are sipping tea.
Cream,
Thank you.
sugar,
Thank you.
cake.
Oh, I shouldn't.
But you will.
Well, just the thinnest, tiniest sliver.
I know what you're up to, Willis. You're afraid to spoil your appetite for dinner.
Oh, about dinner. I shall not be having dinner.
No?
Bahadur Khan.
Not having dinner?
I'm afraid not.
But we've prepared your favorite.
I'm afraid it can't be helped. Bahadur Khan. It is in my mind to hunt this night. See, therefore, that thou wilt prepare the double-barrel express rifle.
You're going to hunt this evening?
Reports of a man-eating tiger in the Mahura district, causing no end of a fuss.
Oh.
The tiger has got to be put a stop to.
And you're taking Bahadur Khan with you?
Well, of course.
But you will be back by Saturday.
Yes, one way or another.
That's good. I need Bahadur Khan to drive to the railroad station at my pur.
Oh?
Yes. To pick up Louise.
Louise?
I've actually prevailed upon her to come out for a visit.
Louise?
You remember my friend Louise?
The skinny one?
Well, she is slender.
Pasty-faced?
Light complected.
Watery eyes.
Actually, her eyes are that delicate shade of china blue.
Kind of a big woman.
Stately.
And as I recall, very opinionated.
She does have some rather sincerely held convictions. She's really a lovely person.
No doubt.
When you get to know her, you don't mind, do you?
Well, this is your home as well as mine. Perfectly awful female.
Now, Willis, she's a perfectly lovely person.
I was talking, my dear, from a masculine point of view. Bahadur Khan. I shall want the Martin as my second gun. See thee now to the horses.
My name is Bahadur Khan. I serve in the house of Willis Foster Sahib. Foster Sahib is the district commissioner. He is wise indeed. In his 40 years of life, he has not taken a wife. This does not sit well with his sister, Pamela Sahiba, a widow who keeps his home. English Mem Sahibs have a peculiar affliction. They cannot tolerate the sight of a bachelor. I could tell by the sweet notes in Pamela Sahiba's voice and the shining look in her eyes that this Louise Sahiba was her latest candidate to storm the citadel of the fortress that was Foster Sahib's heart.
Boy!
Does the Mem Sahib deign to speak to one so lowly?
Are you... what's your name supposed to be? I've got it written down here. Are you Bahadur Khan?
Bahadur Khan, it is. With the permission of the presence.
You were supposed to meet me inside the terminal.
If the presence will forgive, I was afraid to venture inside the house of the fire carriages.
Afraid? What on earth is there to be afraid of?
The fire wagon that pulls the Tyrrhen.
The engine?
Inside, it is filled with devils.
Devils?
Oh, yes. Devils that have been captured by the government and sentenced to boil the water to make steam for the trains.
I've never heard such nonsense.
Angry devils. And sometimes they escape. In their great fury, they will melt the iron of the fire wagon, and there is a terrible explosion, and many die.
How can you believe such superstitious nonsense?
If it offends the presence, I shall not believe it. She was rather large, as Mem Sahibas go, and not at all unshapely. However, her tongue was never silent. A talking woman for Foster Sahib? Never. And so, without a moment of silence, we drove to the house. As we entered the gate, there was something that finally stilled her voice for a moment.
What's that? What's that noise?
Noise?
Can't you hear over there? That man is hitting that woman.
That is so.
He's beating her. Put a stop to it.
Sahiba, that man is Foster Sahib's gardener, Pir Khan.
Make him stop. He has no right to beat that woman.
He has every right. She is his wife.
I'll stop him myself.
But Sahiba...
Stop that! I said stop that, you scoundrel! Stop that at once!
Poor Pir Khan. What was he doing but beating his wife? Suddenly he was beset unmercifully with an umbrella. And thus did the Mem Sahib Louise enter the household. I must say she made her presence felt. She was constantly correcting, admonishing, advising. She was having an effect on everyone, except, of course, Foster Sahib. He found reasons to work quite late at the office. One day, the two Mem Sahibs were having tea on the veranda.
Cream? Thank you. Sugar? No, thank you. Cake. Oh, just the most petite slice.
Louise, dear, I'm not sure I know exactly how to begin this.
Begin what?
I must ask you not to interfere.
Interfere? In what way?
Well, the truth is, in every way.
I'm sure I don't understand.
Since you've come to the station, Louise, you've managed to turn things topsy-turvy, inside out, upside down, and every which way.
Have I indeed?
For example, you know, Pir Khan's beating his wife.
Oh, I put a stop to that quickly enough.
The point is, you had no right to stop him. And you had no right to belabor him with your umbrella, either.
Do you object to my actions, Pamela?
I'm afraid, Louise, I must say yes.
But the scoundrel was beating her without mercy. You didn't see him abuse that poor girl.
Oh, I've seen him.
You have?
Yes, many times.
And you've done nothing to prevent it?
There's nothing I can or should do to prevent it. Things are very different out here.
Oh, yes. And you're different, too. But back home, you were a member of the Fabian Society.
Well?
Well, I remember you at the meeting when you were asked to speak.
Please, Louise.
They still talk about that speech, the most inspiring oration on the rights of human beings.
Louise, what you fail to understand.
Suppose they could be aware of this conversation. What would they say about it back home?
This is my home now, Louise. My husband is buried here. My children are being raised here. I have no other home.
Oh, Pamela, you mustn't think that way.
You'd better start thinking that way, too.
Oh, no, never.
Louise, I asked you to come here because there is no hope for you in England.
That isn't true.
Then why did you come? That crowd of starry-eyed idealists we ran about with.
Ran about with is hardly the way to describe
it. The fact is, for the most part, they don't believe in marriage. And those that do, well, they don't believe in consummating it.
How?
I saw the way the wind was blowing there 10 years ago. So I came here where I could meet someone. It took you somewhat longer, but here you are. Meanwhile, please do not upset my household.
What am I doing to upset
In the matter of Pierre Khan and his way, for example, you have given me a problem. You see, he no longer beats her.
And that's a problem.
Laila is the best cook I've ever had. Now she just sits and mopes all day.
Oh, why?
Because her heart is broken. She believes her husband no longer loves her.
Why should she think so?
Because he no longer beats her. Dear, let us not forget the object of your visit. I know that my brother is a most unusually difficult fish to land.
A woman should not refer to a man as a fish, to be baited, hooked, and landed.
Well, that's what it amounts to, doesn't it?
I am amazed at your Neanderthal attitudes.
Do you see this charm around my neck?
Mm-hmm. Rather somber-looking thing.
Please listen before you say anything. When I came to India 10 years ago to live with Willis, Bahadur Khan said to me, Sahiba, here is a token from the god of love, Omira.
Omira?
There are thousands of such gods. At any rate, he told me if I wore the charm constantly, within the year I would be married. I did, and I was.
Are you telling me that you actually believe in this?
What I'm telling you is that a girl needs all the help she can get. And so I took the liberty of asking Bahadur Khan to
what?
Bahadur Khan. You see, Louise.
Sahiba.
Bahadur Khan, hast thou found the charm for the Mem Sahib, as I asked thee?
One who is even less than the dirt beneath the Sahiba's feet has indeed brought that which is desired. Behold.
Oh, Louise, look, it is beautiful. Well, what is it supposed to be?
It's your charm. You are now under the special graces of the love god, Omira.
What are you saying, Pamela?
And before the year is out, he shall find you a husband. Here, wear it around your neck.
I shall do no such thing.
Oh, but Louise...
Do you expect me to partake in this superstitious nonsense? To aid, abet, and encourage it? No. Thank you, Bahadur Khan. Pamela, I shall win Willis through intelligence and wit and all the civilized things we have in common.
Such a vain and foolish Mem Sahib. But what is to be done? The English, they are like children. They refuse to learn when they are young, and when they grow old, it is too late. Poor, silly Louise Sahiba. Now, no one shall ever lead her to the marriage bed.
I don't know about you, but I agree with Pamela. A girl needs all the help she can get, particularly in the affairs of the heart. So then, what prognosis for this proposed match between Willis and Louise? Can it proceed without help from the love god? Is there a love god? We shall have Act 2 in just a few minutes.
At the store, they told me there's a powerful anti-itch drug I can buy without a doctor's prescription. Now, I use Bicozine cream as directed. No more burning, embarrassing itching. No more scratching. Bicozine actually speeds healing. Bicozine cream. What a relief. Time to change your laxative. X-Lax pills gently stimulate your system's own natural rhythm, and that makes all the difference. X-Lax pills, for occasional use only as directed.
What a difference it makes when you got it.
Take your family the way it is. On Kodak film, the boy so proud of his Little League uniform. That's worth a picture. Being struck out by his sister. That, too.
What a difference it makes when you got what it takes. What a difference it makes when you got it.
Your family's special, especially on Kodak film.
You know, at Dante's,
My, what a lovely evening gown.
you can come as you are anywhere at all.
Hi, guys. You win your game?
Young or old, for that matter.
Mama, can I have some more pizza?
It's food and fun. Large pitchers of beer or a carafe of wine for any group.
Pick up Jack of Hearts.
At Dante's, you don't have to miss your favorite TV program. You can watch it on Dante's big screen TV. So for fun, food, and libations and the best pizza in town, it's Dante's Pizza in Colony's North Mall.
I know. You've heard Rinse and Vac steam carpet cleaning is the best way to clean your carpets. But now, I must tell you there's something that gets them 20% cleaner. It's Rinse and Vac with brushes. In tests, Rinse and Vac with brushes got rugs an average of 20% cleaner than Rinse and Vac alone. Rent Rinse and Vac where hardware and housewares are sold. 20% cleaner carpets. The best just got better.
It is said that marriages and hangings go by destiny, which means that each is foreordained. However, destiny, like everything else, can always use a little push here and there along the line. Well, here we are in the India of almost 100 years ago. A determined spinster named Louise has just turned down an offer of help from one of the local love gods. My goodness, you would think it was an offer she couldn't afford to refuse.
That will be all Bahadur Khan.
Sahiba.
You didn't have to hurt his feelings. You could have accepted the charm.
And connived at this dark superstition.
Oh, Louise, everything doesn't have to be so serious.
Well, I think it's high time we adopted a serious attitude towards that heathen mythology.
Bahadur Khan is quite tolerant about our religion. Can't we extend the same indulgence to his? Really, dear, you shouldn't be so earnest all the time.
But life is earnest. Life is real.
Yes, I suppose so. Now, shall we apply ourselves to the problem at hand? The conquest of Willis?
Oh, I wish you wouldn't refer to planning for marriage as a conquest.
Conquest? Seduction? Call it what you will.
I call it a meeting of the minds.
It's also a meeting of the bodies.
Two rational, intelligent human beings who can see that their best interests can be served and their better natures enhanced by a union, as it were, of the spiritual aspects.
Tell me, what plans have you in mind for Willis?
I shall prove to Willis that I am completely interested, not to say fascinated, by his work.
Oh, why do women feel they must take an interest in a man's work?
Well, to prove that they share.
Nonsense.
I intend to have a partnership with my husband.
What most men have in mind is an ownership.
Not modern, progressive, enlightened men.
Oh, darling, they're the most boring kind.
Well, good afternoon.
Oh, home early, I see, Willis.
Yes, pour me a cup of that tea, please. Bahadur Khan.
How are you, Willis? We see so little of you.
Well, the work of the empire, the vast, lumbering Indian empire, must be got through somehow. Bahadur Khan, it is time to settle accounts with the man-eater in the Maihura Hills. Thou wilt fetch the double-barrel rifle and ammunition.
It is even as the presence commands.
The second gun and all else that will be required for the hunt. We leave in the morning.
Are you going to try for that tiresome tiger again?
Oh, well, we'll put an end to him this time.
Do you intend to actually shoot and kill a tiger, Willis?
With luck.
But a tiger? Such a noble, magnificent beast?
He's a cattle killer, a man-eater.
Aren't you moved by Mr. Blake's poem? Tiger, tiger, burning bright in the forests of the night, what immortal hand or eye could frame thy fearful cemetery?
Oh, not this one. He's old and sick and mangy, half blind and lame. That's why he's become a man-eater, because he's unable to hunt down game.
Oh, well, then it's a mission of mercy?
Well, I suppose you could call it that.
Well, then I approve completely.
Well, thank you.
And also, I believe I should like to come along.
Come along?
Well, of course. This is India. The India of the jungle, the true India.
But it might be dangerous.
Dangerous? You said the tiger was half blind and lame.
Yes, of course. That's what makes him even more dangerous.
A half blind, lame tiger?
Yes, but he's still formidable.
not to be trifled with.
Oh, but I should so like to see it. Do let me come.
Is there any reason, Willis, why we should go?
Well...
Then it's settled.
Come to my room, Louise, and I shall lend you an outfit suitable for tiger hunting. Aren't you the sly one?
What do you mean?
I'm sure you must know how tigers are hunted.
No, really, I haven't the foggiest notion.
One sits up all night in a blind and waits.
Is that a fact?
As if you didn't know. So there you are, the two of you, alone in the moonlight, with the perfume of the exotic jungle flowers, creating a most seductive...
Oh, nonsense. We shall have a most rational discussion to ascertain our common interests.
Oh, yes, I was afraid of that.
And so the three of us rode to the Mayahura Hills, which had sent messages to the district commissioner to rid them of the man-eater who filled entire villages with dread. When we arrived in the foothills, we proceeded on foot, and since these were not our hills, I stopped for a moment and knelt.
What's he doing?
Shh. We may proceed, if the presence so desires.
Lead us, Bahadur Khan.
What was he doing?
He was asking permission to hunt.
Asking permission? From whom?
From the god of this particular jungle. Oh, you see, we're strangers here.
You speak as if you actually believe in it yourself.
Does it hurt? I would suppose one is always well advised to have as many things going for one as possible.
But to answer your question, yes, it hurts. It hurts the cause of progress and enlightenment to support base superstition.
Ah, right then, I knew her hopes were doomed. He would never lead her to his marriage bed. For a brief moment, he had been attracted to her. The fact that she wished to hunt the tiger at night had marked her as a woman of spirit. But then, of course, she had spoiled it all with her inability to hold her tongue. These foolish English, why do they talk so much?
Dost thou hear it, Bahadur Khan?
By the favor of the presence, thy servant hears.
What is it?
A goat.
A goat?
If it is thy will, I shall go forward to see if the villagers have prepared the blind.
What is he saying?
We must keep our voices low.
What is he saying?
The villagers should have built us a platform high up in a tree.
Why?
Sahib, come.
Yes, I believe it's in readiness.
Up here, Sahib.
Good. Help the Mem Sahib up the tree.
Oh, thank you very much.
Shh. Now come, we must hurry.
Ah, Shere Khan hunts this night.
Shere Khan, who is that?
Well, that's what the natives call the tiger.
You know, this is really quite roomy and comfortable.
Yes.
Now, I have a question. You can look down from here and shoot the tiger, but why should he be good enough to oblige you and pass this way?
That's why.
I don't understand.
Well, look below. To the left. What do you see?
Seems to be a goat.
Exactly.
What's he standing there for? Doesn't he hear the tiger?
Oh, yes, he does.
Well, then why doesn't he run away?
Well, he can't. He's tethered to a stake in the ground.
Why? For what on earthly reason?
It's a very sound reason. The villagers put him out here to attract Shere Khan. And when he comes, I'll be able to shoot him.
But the poor goat.
What about the poor goat?
But the tiger will spring on him and kill him.
Well, yes, that's the idea of the thing.
Well, that's not fair.
It's the only way to do it.
Are you saying this is the only way to hunt a tiger?
The only way without risking the loss of life.
But the goat is going to lose its life.
I mean human life.
But the goat is also a child of the Creator. Oh, no. I can't tolerate this.
Making too much noise will scare off the tiger.
That poor little goat.
Where are you going?
I shall not stay here and see that goat be made a victim.
You can't go down there. Bahadur Khan, stop her.
Don't you dare.
You come back here.
I'm going to untie that goat so that it can run away.
Now listen.
Nice goat. Nice creature. Just let me untie this knot.
The tiger is prowling around down there.
I seem to unloosen this knot.
Do you want to get killed?
Open this knot.
Louise! Even if I could see the tiger, I couldn't shoot him in time.
Giving way. It's opening.
Louise!
Just another moment. That's all I need. Louise! Run! You're free.
Sahib,
Run,
behold,
Run, you silly little goat. You get away from here, you big bully. Get away. Go home.
Shoot him, Sahib. Shoot. How can I shoot that confounded woman standing in the way?
Go home now. You heard me. Go home. There's a nice pussy cat. Just turn around and go straight home. You hear me? Go home.
Are they not crazy, all these English? On the ground is the mad Mem Sahib, and she is almost twisting the whiskers of the terrible tiger. I do not know which of the two is more frightened. Up in the tree is Foster Sahib with the double-barrel rifle, cursing as if the devil is in his mouth, trying to shoot the tiger. But the Mem Sahib is in the line of fire, and also in the tree we have me, Bahadur Khan, wondering, waiting to see how, with the grace of God, it will all come out.
And I am with you, Bahadur Khan, also waiting and wondering how it must all come out. As we both know, the design already has been woven by Providence, and all shall be revealed in the appointed time by revelations, which in our show is always the third act.
Oh, come on. Stain over paint?
Now you can stain over paint with Olympic Latex Stain.
Stain over paint? Why, that's impossible.
Olympic Latex Stain covers paint with rich, mellow color, cleans up in water, and lasts for years.
Great idea.
And right now, when you buy 4 gallons, you get 1 more free. Same goes for Olympic Overcoat House Paint and Olympic Oil Stain.
I'm sold.
Buy 4 gallons of any one Olympic product, get 1 more free. But hurry. Sale ends September 8th at participating Olympic dealers.
Help! Help!
It's hay fever.
And my pills are just antihistamine. Isn't there something better?
Don't give up. Arm yourself with ARM.
ARM, Allergy Relief Medicine, gives you full antihistamine relief for itching, dripping, sneezing, plus extra decongestant for freer breathing, clearer sinuses.
Better relief.
Better relief. Arm yourself with ARM.
ARM.
For occasional use only as directed.
When your car's engine goes bad, you have a choice. You can get a new car or a new engine for thousands less. Masterbuilt Motors, 317 West Mitchell, one of San Antonio's most respected companies, will replace it with a completely remanufactured one using precision engineering techniques. All worn surfaces are renewed, plus over 100 new parts installed. Come to Masterbuilt Motors, 317 West Mitchell, and see what you can get for your money. Remember, you can get a new engine for thousands less. It's your choice.
According to this magazine, Stanley, we don't kiss enough.
Look, I get these cold sores. It hurts to kiss.
Stop hurting. Start healing with Campho-Phenique.
Just a touch of medically effective Campho-Phenique instantly stops pain of cold sores, helps speed healing by killing infectious germs, and forming a protective emollient shield.
Bet our scores improved since a week ago.
Way above average.
Stop hurting. Start healing with Campho-Phenique, the little green bottle full of first aid. Use only as directed.
Hi, I'm Neil Thruston. Well, how are you feeling this evening? I mean, how are you really feeling deep down inside? Husbands, how do you feel about your wives? Wives, how do you feel about your husbands? How do both of you feel about your children, your jobs, your lifestyle? Well, those are the kinds of things, those feelings that we talk about on Nightline. And I invite you to join me, call me, and talk to me right after the CBS Mystery Theater.
Rides a tiger, the proverb tells us, dares not dismount. That's a very good analysis of those who are actually riding the tiger. But what can we say of one who is facing the tiger, and alone, unarmed, and on foot? I would suppose we could only remark that such a person is hardly a good insurance risk.
Oh, you be a nice pussycat and go straight home. That's right. Go home. Yes, and goodbye to you, too. And don't you dare show your face around here again.
Now, Sahib. Now shoot him. Missed. The other barrel, Sahib. Quickly.
Oh, he got away.
So he did. And I'm glad.
You're glad?
Well, isn't it better this way? There was no bloodshed.
It was all your fault.
My fault?
I should have had him.
But aren't you happy it worked out like this? There's no blood on your hands.
But that's my job.
It's your job to get blood on your hands?
It's my job to kill tigers that terrorize the countryside.
He threw such a scare into him, I don't think he'll be in the mood to terrorize anyone for a long, long time.
Miss Louise, I...
Yes?
Nothing. Nothing at all. Bahadur Khan, carry the rifles. We're going home.
I must say that the journey home was not a happy one. Foster Sahib was angry, and the Mem Sahib Louise did not know why. After a while, she too became angry, and so they spoke not a word to each other. When they arrived at the house, the Mem Sahib Pamela called me to her.
Bahadur Khan, I have here a note which informs me that the children of my servants have not been vaccinated against the smallpox. What's happened?
The people no longer believe in devils, and it has been believed that the vaccination is the magic that enters the blood to vanquish the devil of the smallpox. The Sahiba Louise has insisted to all that there are no devils. And in that case, of what use is the vaccination?
I see. Thank you, Bahadur Khan. That would be all.
But that was not to be all. Foster Sahib was very unhappy at home, and therefore Mem Sahib Pamela was unhappy, and Mem Sahib Louise, she too was unhappy. Indeed, it was a most unhappy household. And then, one morning, before he left for his office, Foster Sahib stopped to speak with his sister.
Where's Louise?
I believe she's out somewhere.
What trouble is she causing now?
I think she's teaching some of the children to read.
Yes, well.
I'm sorry I invited her to come.
Are you?
My motives were pure.
Famous final words.
I thought you two would get along.
Oh, I can't imagine why.
You're so alike in so many ways.
None of which is apparent to me.
And you're both lonely.
Nonsense. Me? Lonely? Why, I'm the most socially involved man in the station.
You're lonely, Willis. And so is Louise. I suppose you'd like to see her go.
Well, I know she's your oldest friend.
She's not old.
Fact is, she is so obviously out of place here.
Well, yet I can't ask her to leave, can I?
No, I suppose not.
Well, what's to be done?
Leave it to me.
Leave what to you?
There are ways of getting around things.
Now, Willis, you must not be cruel.
No, dear. But I shall be surgical. Well, good morning, ladies.
Good morning. Good morning, Willis.
Everyone's so bright and early for breakfast.
You seem to be in excellent spirits.
Ladies, I am drunk.
Willis, you never drink this early in the morning.
Oh, this is the greatest intoxication of all.
What is?
The glow, the exhilaration that has nothing to do with alcohol.
What does it have to do with?
Love.
Love?
Ladies, you shall be the first to know. I am in love.
Willis!
At last, the steadfast Willis has finally fallen, taken prisoner by two sparkling blue eyes, a halo of golden blonde hair, and lips as luscious as the Kabuli grapes. I am her captive without hope of quarter.
Whose captive are you, Willis?
I saw her last night at the club. And suddenly, what can I say? I was smitten.
By whom, Willis?
By Jenny Thorpe.
Jenny Thorne.
Stop.
Jenny, she's
an angel.
She's already buried 2 husbands.
Well, let her bury me, too, if it comes to that.
Are you sure, Willis?
When the heart speaks, can there ever be doubt?
I wish you the best fortune, Willis. May you always be happy.
Thank you, Louise.
You must excuse me. I think I have a headache.
You can't be serious, Willis. That impossible Jenny Thorne.
I shall be serious for as long as it may be necessary.
I don't understand.
For as long as Louise remains here.
Oh, well, it isn't necessary to hurt her.
Pamela, dear, there is no such thing as painless surgery.
All this was taking place even as I, Bahadur Khan, was serving the tea, the eggs, and the mutton chops for the breakfast. Later in the morning, as I proceeded to clean the bedrooms, I noticed the door of the Mem Sahib Louise was closed, and from within the sound of a woman weeping. I was about to go away, but suddenly her door opened, and the Sahiba appeared before me. Obviously, she had hastily dried her tears.
Bahadur Khan, may I speak with you?
This insignificant person would be willing to spend eternity listening to the words of wisdom from the presence.
Please, Bahadur Khan, I'm serious. I'm so miserable. You see, I've always been in love with Willis all my life. He'd never look at me. And now he's going to marry someone else.
Is it not written, there are other fish in the sea?
Fish? Yes. Men? No. Oh, Bahadur Khan, perhaps I offended that god. What was his name? Omir or something. That is when I refused that charm that you offered me. Now I'm willing to believe anything. I mean it. What have I got to lose? And this is such a strange country. Who knows what can happen here?
I looked at this Mem Sahib who was fighting her tears. A strange country? No, this is not a strange country. It is really quite simple. It is the English who are strange. And this one, not only strange, but also ill. And why was she ill? Only because no one had ever led her to the nuptial couch. Which is why she was always getting herself into so much mischief. And yet, she would make an excellent wife for Foster Sahib. Ah, these English. Why are we always compelled to arrange matters for them? If the Sahib will deign to listen.
Oh, yes.
You have grievously offended the great love god Omira when you insulted his charm.
But I'm sorry.
Omira is a god of love. He can always be appeased.
He can? How?
One must go to his temple and pray to him.
Are you asking me to pray to a heathen god?
The Sahiba has honored me by inquiring if I would serve her. If she continues to insult the mighty Omira...
No, I certainly don't. No, not at all.
Then we must go to the temple of Omira at midnight.
At midnight?
Yes, at midnight. At which time we shall pray to the love god for a miracle. Yes, one must always pray for a miracle. And in addition, one must always prepare for a miracle. After all, these things cannot be spun from the air, can they? And so, to begin, I went to the kitchen and spoke to Laila, the cook.
Why should I have the Sahiba, Louise?
Because I ask it of thee.
I do not like the Sahiba.
If thou refuse me, I shall tell thy husband about that British soldier in the bazaar.
He has already beaten me for the soldier.
And the Bengali merchant.
Also for the merchant.
And for the Afghan horse trader. Ah,
What is required of me?
Bring the paint, the powder, the rouge, which thou knowest so well to apply. Also, thy wedding gown.
My wedding gown?
Ah, yes. A most exciting garment. We must prepare the Sahiba Louise for her encounter with the love god of Omira. At midnight, we shall meet at his shrine. And so, at midnight, we met at the shrine of the love god. It was a bower of dogwood trees in full bloom, a few feet from the house. And why not? Any lovely place may be sacred to the god of love. At first, I did not recognize the Sahiba Louise. Laila had performed magic with her paint and her gown. Standing in front of me was a magnificent, stately goddess with skin like alabaster, flaming red hair, flashing eyes. I tell you, she was one to inflame the senses of any man. And so I approached. Sahiba Louise, are you now ready to pray to the love god Amira?
I am ready.
Then speak. Speak of what is in your heart. Ask for the fulfillment of your desire.
I want Willis Foster. I want Willis Foster.
Listen. Listen to the reply of the love god Omira.
I don't hear any.
Close your eyes and listen. Listen.
Yes.
My child, I have heard your prayer. I grant your wish. I fulfill your desire. You shall have Willis Foster. Go to him. Go to him now. Tell him it is my will.
Oh, but...
Do you believe in me, my daughter?
Yes, but...
Then go to him now.
Yes. Yes.
Like one in a dream, she turned, she walked into the house. She went to the room of Foster Sahib, and I heard...
Well, what time is it?
Who are you?
You don't know me.
Louise? No, you can't be Louise.
I'm Louise.
But you're beautiful.
Why have we kept apart from each other for so many years?
Now that you ask me, I don't know.
Even as children, we knew we were meant for each other. Why did we fight against it?
I guess you thought I was dull.
And did you think I was too clever? Well, I'm not really clever.
No, and I'm not really dull either.
What is this nonsense about that awful Jenny Thorpe?
Well, that's all it is, Louise. Nonsense.
You were always too shy to say it, and I was too proud, but someone has to say it first. I love you.
And I love you. Just a moment. Then he closed the door to his room, and I was able to hear no more. Like a good servant, I retired for the night, seeing that my master had need of me no longer. And you, to whom I tell this tale, have need of me no longer as well. For the rest of the story, you may supply yourselves.
East is east and west is west, as they say. But one place where east meets west is in the universal appreciation of a love story, especially one with a happy ending. We have every reason to assume that they all lived happily ever after. So,
bask in the glow of the lover's joy, and I shall return shortly.
And there is a better way to sleep, the Perfect Sleeper by Serta. Every perfect sleeper, from the signature wax to the Avanti with pillow surf, gives you firmness that feels good. Firm, deep support for your back and luxurious comfort on top for you. See your Serta dealer soon. It's a good feeling to sleep the night away on a Perfect Sleeper by Serta. Be a perfect sleeper, buy a perfect sleeper, Perfect Sleeper by Serta.
Weekends were made for Michelob. Weekends were made for special friends. It's the time to have that smooth and mellow beer. It's Michelob. Here's one beer, the meaning's clear. It says you serve the best. Weekends were made for special times, special places, special things, those special moments a weekend brings. It's the time to have that smooth and mellow beer. It's Michelob. Weekends were made for Michelob. Weekends were made for Michelob.
Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis.
our story may perhaps raise a question. Is there a God of love? Are meetings, and matches all arranged in advance? I would answer, most likely, because some of the pairings and partnerships we see around us simply could not come about by themselves. Somebody, somewhere, somehow, must have had a hand in it. Our cast included Marion Seldes, Court Benson, Grace Matthews, and William Griffiths.
Our production was under the direction of Hyman Brown. This is E.G. Marshall inviting you to return to our Mystery Theater for another adventure in the macabre. Until next time, pleasant dreams.
Great if life came with a remote control. You know, you could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind. Like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest.
Uh-oh.
Or that time you forgot to roll up your windows in the car wash.
Fantastic.
Yeah, a remote control would have come in handy then. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes like managing your weight, getting active, stopping smoking, and eating healthier, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. It's easy to learn your risk. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Life doesn't come with a remote control. Yikes! So you're on your own with the wasps. You have the power to take control of prediabetes. Visit doihaveprediabetes.org today. That's doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
Sometimes I just cannot believe all the storms we've gone through here.
I can only hope that we'll be able to leave this house to you one day, baby. You're our legacy.
Planning for these disasters will make sure we're safe, and is the best way to protect that legacy. You know what? We should make an emergency communication plan. That way we're ready this year. At my dorm, we have emergency kits for earthquakes and wildfires, but I'm sure there's something more local. I can send you with a link.
Okay.
Smart.
Protect your legacy. Visit ready.gov/plan for the tools and tips you need to start your emergency preparedness plan today. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council. They are our love bugs and companions. They are our pets, our family, and they make life better. When we face unexpected challenges, so do our pets. That's why we're on a mission to support people and their pets. Whether donating a bag of kibble, sharing an Instagram post of a lost cat, or welcoming a foster pet into your home, every bit of kindness counts. Visit petsandpeopletogether.org to learn how to be a helper in your community. Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
There's danger out there. It lurks on highways and quiet neighborhood streets. It's more likely to kill you than a shark and more terrifying than the biggest snake. Distracted driving claims lives every day. Every notification, swipe, social post, video, or selfie while driving risks your life. So while you might think public speaking or the zombie apocalypse is scary, what's really terrifying and even deadly is distracted driving. Eyes forward. Don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
We'll now return with yet another episode from the CBS Radio Mystery Theater, right here on Radio Mystery Theater USA.
The CBS Radio Mystery Theater presents... Welcome. I'm E.G. Marshall. Those of you who have attended performances in the Mystery Theater know that there are certain tales that particularly entrance and intrigue me. They deal with the unusual, the unfamiliar, the unexplainable. So I have turned today to that master of mystery, Wilkie Collins, who has a habit of coming up with a story that always makes me say, why, that's not possible. Or is it?
Xavier Yardley Zenith, can you hear me?
Yes, I can, Uncle. It's me, Xavier. Are you a ghost?
Why didn't Father Daly bless my coffin?
I wanted him to, Uncle, but he refused. Absolutely refused.
Why, Xavier?
Because he said you didn't die a natural death.
You must make him bless the grave, Xavier. I cannot rest until he does.
Our mystery drama, Shadows from the Grave, adapted from a story by Wilkie Collins, was written especially for the Mystery Theater by James Agate Jr. and stars Christopher Tabori.
It is sponsored in part by Sign-Off, the sinus medicines. I'll be back shortly with Act One.
Maxwell House is coffee you can count on. Maxwell House, good to the last drop. Maxwell House, it really gets you going. Maxwell House, good to the last drop. Maxwell House is...
Good morning.
Maxwell House is...
A good starter.
Good to the last drop. Maxwell House. Maxwell House is...
A good friend.
Maxwell House is...
Good company.
Good to the last drop. Maxwell House.
Maxwell House, coffee you can count on. Always smells good, always tastes good. Every Maxwell House coffee, always good to the last drop.
Maxwell House is...
Good taste.
Maxwell House is...
Good times.
Good to the last drop. Maxwell House. Maxwell House.
Good relaxing.
Maxwell House.
Good coffee.
Good to the last drop. Maxwell House.
Listen with your heart and you'll hear more than words.
Grandma?
Yes, sweetheart?
Did my mother ever do anything bad?
Well, what do you mean?
Did she always clean up her room?
Listen with your heart and you'll hear love.
Seems to me I had to remind her to clean up her room on occasion.
Sometimes I forget, too.
Well, everyone forgets once in a while.
Listen with your heart and start to understand.
Grandma, does my mom love Jimmy more than me?
No. You know, your mother used to ask me that about her brother.
Really?
Listen with your heart and you'll hear love.
You remind me an awful lot of your mother when she was a little girl.
Listening, caring, and sharing. That's what understanding is all about.
Listen with your heart and you'll hear love.
From the Mormons, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
One invariably associates the mysterious with lonely old houses, strange, small, inbred towns, peculiar characters. And I have to admit, this story follows that pattern. The man who told it to me is one X.Y. Zenith. You can imagine the kind of comments this poor fellow has gone through life with. Nevertheless, he didn't seem to mind when I said, XYZ, would you tell us about your extraordinary adventure yourself?
Having been christened Xavier Yardley Zenith and suffered with those initials all through school in California, I decided that when I got to the job age and became very good in photography, to open up a studio of my own. Call it Zenith of Hollywood. Not an unusual word in Hollywood, where everything is the top, the best, the ultimate, the zenith. Two things occurred in April of this year which totally changed my life. One, I planned to marry. And two, I got a note from my Uncle George, who lived in Fresno, to come see him on what he called a matter of some importance. Hello up there, Uncle George. It's me, Xavier. What are you doing up in that tree?
Xavier, welcome, my boy. I've just about sealed up this hole in the tree. Here, give me a hand.
Steady.
Pretty spry for a man of my age, don't you think? You've never been up this way before, have you, Xavier?
Not since I was a child, Uncle George.
Oh, that's right. I remember now.
This beautiful house hasn't changed.
My father built it in memory of Queen Victoria.
Oh, what happened to this big old oak? Struck by lightning?
No, it's the woodpeckers and squirrels that make all these holes. I've just had it with the noisy beggars. They jump from this tree to the top of the porch, and then they run along my bedroom window, making the most infernal racket you can imagine. So I've just been sealing up a few of their nesting places. Let them find apartments elsewhere, I say.
What about that big hole on the other side of the tree?
Maybe tomorrow I'll mix up some more cement. Say, boy, you always go around with 2 cameras hanging around your neck?
Photography is my business, so I'm always prepared just in case.
Huh? Is there a living in it? You sell your pictures?
I used to do better. Took shots of movie stars on location, did a lot of newspaper and magazine work. But work is thinned out.
I have a proposition to make you. Since I gather the picture-taking business isn't too profitable these days, I think you may be interested. Are you married?
I'm just about to be. This coming Saturday, matter of fact.
Good. Then what I have in mind might make an excellent wedding present. I'm not a rich man, Xavier, but comfortably off. 59 acres, orchards, gardens, this house, and a private family vault on the premises.
You're joking. You own a mausoleum?
Death is not a joke, Xavier. I am going to die in a week.
You? No, you're not. You look fit as a fiddle.
An ill-tuned fiddle. No, death is only a few days off for me. I've known it would come to this for some time, so it's no surprise. I'd like to show you where I'm going to be buried. Here we are. That's Carrara marble and Vermont granite. Those 2 locks on the bronze door are an invention of mine.
Mind if I take a picture of it?
Not at all.
There's no one in your private mausoleum now, is there?
No. There was. No. No one. Now, Xavier, I want you to pay particular attention. 2 keyholes and 2 separate brass keys. There is a very good reason for the 2 locks. When I am laid to rest inside this vault, Xavier, I don't expect I shall be trying to get out. But I do not wish anyone else to get in.
But why would a person want to?
It's not necessary for me to explain all that to you now, my boy. I turn the handle, and so. Not spacious, but not crowded. My final home.
Uncle, if you don't mind, could we go back to the house now? I'm not at my best in mausoleums.
All right. I've shown you everything. We'll sit ourselves on the porch, and I'll tell you what's on my mind. Have you ever sat in a porch swing, Xavier? Comfortable?
I love these old swings.
Xavier, I have no choice. You are my only living kin. There is no one else. I'm leaving all my worldly possessions, this house, the contents, the grounds, everything to you, on one condition. You must live here, and every day, every single day, mind you, you must go to that mausoleum and make certain there's been no one tampering with the locks.
Uh-huh. And that's the only condition, Uncle?
The only one.
I certainly appreciate your generosity. Can I think it over and let you know? I'd like to talk it over with Catherine.
Absolutely not. You're going to agree right now.
But, Uncle...
But what? You can have your Zenith of Hollywood office right here. This place is plenty big enough. You can turn the solarium into a studio if you like. I don't care. I won't be here. It's all decided then? Good. I'll have Henley take you to the top of the hill. A good view, and you can see most of the property. Have a tug at that bell pull, will you, Xavier? My dear boy, you don't know what a relief this is. My fate lies in your hands.
Wait just a moment, Uncle. I haven't agreed to this inheritance yet. But if I do, and I find someone's been at the locks of that mausoleum, what should I do?
In my desk in the library, bottom right-hand drawer, is a letter of instructions. The envelope has one word on it. Joshua.
Did you say Joshua?
But, unless someone's been trying to break in, that letter must never be read.
You rang, sir?
Yes, Henley. This is my nephew, Xavier Yardley Zenith. He's going to be living here. I want you to acquaint him with the property.
Very well, sir.
Goodbye, Xavier. I shall not be seeing you again. Have a good walk. Well, my dear Joshua, your old friend George Zenith has found a way to outwit you. Do you hear me, Joshua?
That's exactly what he said, Catherine. He stood looking out of the window at the tree he'd been cementing, talking to someone called Joshua, who, of course, wasn't in the tree. It was most uncanny. And then I left the room with Henley, the butler.
How well do you know your Uncle George?
Only slightly, I'd say.
So then you have no idea what he meant by, Joshua, I'm going to outwit you now.
Not the vaguest. But the important thing is, Catherine, do we want to spend the rest of our lives in a Victorian white elephant with a cook and a butler?
Our lives?
Well, that's the deal if I accept. I have to guard that mausoleum every single day.
Darling, let's forget about this crazy Uncle George of yours. We're getting married Saturday. That's enough to think about for now. If your uncle wants to leave us his big old house in Fresno, fine. I love old houses, especially when it's a free gift. You didn't promise anything, did you?
No, I didn't. Saturday, Catherine and I tied the knot. Nothing fancy, just a few friends at the registrar's office on Hollywood Boulevard. About a dozen of us drove out to Laguna Beach for a wedding breakfast, and we just got around to toasting one another in California champagne when my service tracked me down and left a message that Uncle George had died. And would I come back to Fresno?
I'm Father Daly, Mr. Zenith. Your uncle came occasionally to our church.
Father Daly, this is my wife, Catherine.
How do you do? I'm sorry this sad occasion has brought us together. Not a very auspicious first married week, is it?
It's hard to believe. He seemed so healthy. And when he talked about being dead in a week...
Did he?
Yes. I thought it was his macabre sense of humor. How do you suppose he knew?
Well, if he intended to take his own life, then quite naturally he would know.
Well, surely no one thinks...
My son, no one knows.
When is the funeral service?
Well, there isn't going to be one in the strict sense of the word.
No funeral? But why not, Father?
And I'm afraid Mr. Zenith's uncle may not have died a natural death. The medical examiner said an overdose of sleeping pills.
Oh, but couldn't that have been an accident? I mean, he told me he had a lot of trouble sleeping.
Oh, of course it could have. Which is what the coroner decided, death by accident. But so long as there's the slightest suspicion, which you have rather confirmed just now for me, I cannot bless the grave.
I could bite my tongue for telling you what he said, that he'd be dead in a few days.
Had you kept your uncle's intentions secret, that indeed would have been a mortal sin.
Yes, Henley. You wish to see me?
I do, sir. Cook and I want to leave.
You wish to leave this house? But why?
While your uncle was alive, there were some very peculiar things going on, but out of loyalty, we just couldn't go.
Peculiar things that frightened you?
Oh, yes, indeed, sir. Strange voices and goings-on and awful shrieks, like someone being attacked. Terrifying, if you ask me.
I quite agree with you. Have you heard such noises since my uncle passed away?
No, Mr. Zenith.
Well, then I suggest to you, the noises died with him. Now, I'll double your salary, Cook's also, and I don't want to hear any more about your leaving.
You put it that way, sir. We'll be happy to stay on.
Every day, I'd go out and check the locks on the family vault. Catherine and I started making over the solarium into a studio, and I ordered equipment for a darkroom. But then, one night, I had a strange dream.
Xavier Yardley Zenith.
Is that you, Uncle George?
Why didn't Father Daly bless my coffin?
I wanted him to, Uncle, but he wouldn't. He said there was some question as to how you died.
You must insist he bless the coffin. I cannot rest until he does.
Uncle George, am I really talking to you? Or am I imagining things in my sleep?
Promise me you will make Father Daly bless my remains. Otherwise, I am lost. I am lost.
To sleep, says Hamlet, perchance to dream. Aye, there's the rub. For in that sleep of death, what dreams may come when we have shuffled off this mortal coil must give us pause. Our friend Xavier Yardley Zenith has surely been given pause. His uncle dies mysteriously, then appears in a dream giving orders, exacting promises. Where will it lead? Where will it end? I shall return shortly with Act 2.
I had it when I woke up this morning. Sinus, my worst ever, until I took Sign-Off.
Send for Sign-Off.
Sign-Off gives you all the pain relief of aspirin, plus relief from sinus pressure, congestion, even postnasal drip.
Send for Sign-Off.
And for the fastest known form of congestion relief, Sign-Off Spray, SINEOFF.
Sign-Off.
The sinus medicines in the bright red box.
Is here.
For occasional use only as directed.
This is Jack Klugman. As national chairman of this year's Easter Seal campaign, I've seen the wonderful things that happen every day in Easter Seal centers. The stroke victim learns to walk and talk again. A disabled youngster learns to feed and dress himself. A deaf child is taught to communicate. Children and adults rebuild their lives with the help of Easter Seals. But they can accomplish only what you make possible. Please, give to Easter Seals for handicapped children and adults.
Hey, sit down, honey. Is this the first time you've interviewed an important celebrity like the old crooner?
Gosh, you sure are relaxed. Is it just an act?
No, honey, nothing bothers the old crooner. I just go out there and be my wonderful self.
No tensions or anything?
Not a thing, honey, except this young doctor told me the old crooner has high blood pressure.
Are you following your treatment every day?
Hey, no need to. Like I said, no tensions or nerves to hassle the old crooner.
That doesn't matter. High blood pressure usually has no symptoms.
No symptoms at all?
Well, that's why it's so important for you to follow your treatment every day, even if you feel relaxed. You have to control high blood pressure all the time. Well, actually, I don't think I ever heard you sing. Do you mind doing a few of your hits?
Me sing? No, never sing anymore now that I've been elected governor of the state.
Hit a few wrong notes there, too, huh?
To learn more, the National High Blood Pressure Education Program urges you to consult your doctor, health department, heart association, or local high blood pressure education program.
It has been an enigma for thousands of years. Are ghosts an illusion, a projection of what one wishes to see, or do they represent some ephemeral link between the world of the dead and the world of the living? The problem that faces Xavier Zenith is to persuade a member of the ministry to bless the remains of a man who may have committed murder, for indeed that is how the church regards suicide.
Catherine, I tell you, Uncle George's ghost said it as clearly as I say this to you. Father Daly must give me his blessing. I cannot rest until he does.
Honey, can I say something? I appreciate this inheritance, the house, the grounds, money to run it and have a butler and a cook. I never in my wildest dreams did I ever think I'd have that. But on the minus side, there's all this infatuation with death. That mausoleum, which has to be guarded as though it were Tutankhamun's tomb. And now you having nightmares about your uncle. Xavier, it's not healthy.
What am I to do? I gave my word.
Well, what about your career? You're a little young to retire to a gingerbread house in Fresno and play nursemaid to ghoulies and ghosties.
Oh, we're going to make a great studio out of the solarium. And then that enormous closet, turning it into a darkroom. It'll be great.
You don't understand me, do you? You've got to get out into the world and take pictures, Mr. Zenith of Hollywood. But having always to be one night away from this place so you can check the locks on a dead man's tomb is going to hold you back.
I told you all this before we married, so don't throw it in my face now.
What's the matter with you, Xavier? Have you no will of your own? Why, a month ago, if I told you that a ghost came to me in my sleep, you would have laughed right out loud.
I'm not laughing now.
You really believe you saw him, don't you?
Of course I do. I was there. He was there. I heard him.
And you've decided to stick it out here for the rest of your life. Is that it?
Mary, if I have to, don't throw it in my face now.
I think I'd better leave you alone until you cool off. I'm not letting any dead uncle get in the way of my life. And I mean it.
Catherine did mean it. Next thing I knew, she'd lit out and went back to L.A. I knew where to find her, all right. At her mother's. But I was darned if I'd go running after her.
My dear Mr. Zenith, my hands are tied. The church simply cannot acknowledge any untoward death.
Father Daly, for 3 nights running, Uncle George has appeared to me at night saying, "Help me lie and rest. I cannot until Father Daly blesses my coffin."
Xavier, may I call you Xavier?
I wish you would.
My boy, you and I are both modern men at the edge of the 21st century. For you to tell me that you're being visited by your uncle's ghost, while I won't discount it as a possibility, it's much more likely to be your own conscience worrying you to such an extent that you can convince yourself that you've seen him. You tell me it happens when you're asleep. I say to you, yes, it could, but that still doesn't make it any more than a dream.
Last night, he said I should read some of the books in his library and I would understand.
Go read your uncle's books. And if this brings you peace of mind, then you'll know whether his appearances are fact or fancy.
That's just what I aim to do, Father.
You rang for me, sir?
Yes, I did, Henley. Come into the library and shut the door behind you. Did you know my uncle was greatly interested in black magic?
Well, I did tell you I was aware something strange was going on. He and Mr. Tree, they did some kind of... I don't know what you'd call it.
Mr. Tree?
A friend of your uncle's. They spent a lot of time together, and then a year ago, Mr. Tree went away.
Can you be more specific than something strange?
Oh, well, sir, there'd be a lot of candles. Hundreds, in fact. They'd have them all burning. And there'd be incense and chanting. Right here in the library, Mr. Zenith.
I've been reading these books, and what amazed me was how many of them deal with the power of black magic.
I remember him asking me to bring home a cup of holy water from the church, and I said to him, well, sir, you're supposed to go to church in person and bless yourself with holy water, not bring the holy water here. And your uncle said, getting the holy water is the easy task. I have to get the blood of a child to mix with the water.
Henley, did you ever find out what it was for?
No, I didn't. I didn't ask. And I didn't steal the holy water from the church either.
Henley, you strike me as a sensible man. Will you do me a favor tonight? I generally take a walk in the garden after dark. Perhaps you'd walk with me.
Well, certainly, sir. I see you brought your camera, Mr. Zenith. Can you take pictures with only moonlight?
Oh, yes. Film is so fast nowadays, I could get a picture of you at 20 feet by the light of one match. Now, this part here, where we're walking, is this also part of my uncle's property?
Well, I should say your property, sir. This is all part of it.
And that brook, too? Okay. Let's walk to the other side across this footbridge. The path seems to continue downstream. Over there. Over there. What's that little stone building?
Oh, that's the mausoleum, sir.
Oh, so it is. By moonlight, I'm afraid I'm a little discombobulated. Oh, wait. That's a good shot from this side of the brook. The mausoleum reflected in the water. Yeah, I think I got it. Henley. What's that?
What's what, sir?
The figure of a man. I just saw him in my viewfinder. Then he disappeared.
Where, sir?
There. Again. Can't you see it?
Yes, there was someone.
He's moving away from the mausoleum. You see him? He's wearing a long cape almost to the ground. Can you see?
A long cape? Oh, no. Excuse me, Mr. Zenith, but I must go now.
No, just a minute. What is...
Sir, will you please let go of my arm?
Yeah, I will when you tell me. Now, do you know that man?
He's come back. Oh, I never thought we'd see him again.
Henley ran off. I followed the man in the cape, keeping my distance across the brook. He seemed to glide over the earth. I ran across the footbridge towards him, and then he disappeared. I turned back to the house, and suddenly there he was, standing against a big oak tree. And then he seemed to melt right into it.
do apologize, Mr. Zenith, for my behavior last night, leaving you like that.
Yes, I was rather puzzled.
You're a photographer, sir, and so I have something to show you. This snapshot. Do you see that, man?
Yes. It's very like the thing I saw last night, a hunched-over man with a long cape. Why, it looks like he's talking to someone. Someone out of camera range, possibly.
Well, that's the peculiar part of it. He was talking to someone. I took a picture of the two of them. But the other man's not in the picture.
Are you saying this person we can't see was there but didn't register on the film? I don't think I understand.
Perhaps it's better that you don't, Mr. Zenith.
What about the man whose picture you got? Do you know him?
It's Mr. Joshua Tree, sir, when he used to live here. And now he's come back. That's why I must beg you for your understanding and indulgence. Mrs. Henley and I simply cannot stay for a moment longer.
But even if it is Mr. Tree who's come back, why must you leave, Henley?
I can't say any more. I really can't. But if you want my advice, Mr. Xavier, if you value your life, you'll leave here also.
When I developed the shots I took of the caped figure, they were identical to Henley's snapshot. That night, from the darkened library, I watched the oak tree. At midnight, the figure in the cape appeared. I crept out of the house, following it to the door of the mausoleum. This is what Uncle George must have meant. I reached forward to stop the man. Something hit me on the head from behind. I blacked out.
Xavier, are you all right?
Oh. Catherine, what are you doing here? Am I dreaming?
Don't ask so many questions. That's quite a bump on your head. Here, let me help you up.
No, I can make it all right. Oh. Whew. Whoever hit me wasn't kidding.
Just stop talking and lean on me, and we'll walk slowly back to the house.
Catherine, this gets more mysterious every minute. But the biggest mystery is how you just happened to show up.
I'm your wife, remember? I decided I was being stupid, so I came back.
No, darling, you don't have to hold me up. I can make it all right.
You're not going to trip and fall again while I'm around.
Catherine, I didn't fall. Somebody hit me.
Xavier, what are you talking about? I saw you at the mausoleum when I came out of the house. I saw you step back and fall over. There wasn't a soul in sight.
You didn't see anyone near me?
It's after 2 in the morning. When we get back to the house, to bed you go and not a peep out of you.
You don't believe that I was hit from behind?
I believe my eyes, and they didn't see a thing.
Father Daly, who is Joshua Tree?
Where did you hear that name?
Henley told me, but not much else.
Joshua Tree. He was a man who, to the bottom of his heart, if he had one, was basically evil.
How did my uncle come to know him?
Well, he just turned up about 2 years ago. Your uncle took a fancy to him and saw a good deal of him, which I am afraid was the most unfortunate thing he ever did in his life.
Why do you say that, Father?
Joshua Tree was the very spirit of the devil himself.
I show you a photograph I took near my uncle's vault the day before yesterday. Is that Joshua Tree?
Well, I can't really make out the face. But the cape and the angle of the head, very similar, I'd say. But, of course, how could it be? He disappeared a year ago.
Father, here's another picture. Is that the man?
Yes, that's him. You didn't take this picture, did you?
No. It was given to me by Henley. He took it. Now, if that's Joshua Tree, you notice he appears to be talking to someone, but there's no one there.
Oh, yes, there is. But the camera can't record an apparition.
You mean Joshua Tree was talking to someone, but we can't see him?
Because, my dear young lady, that invisible thing is a familiar.
What's that?
A familiar is an evil spirit visible to very few. The devil can see him, as can a sorcerer's apprentice.
So you were saying Joshua Tree was such an apprentice?
Xavier, are you in here?
There's nothing here. I'll try this drawer.
What are you doing?
There's nothing.
What do you mean, nothing?
I mean, there's nothing in any of my uncle's desk drawers. And he told me there was.
Xavier, why don't you answer me?
Because I don't have any answers. Let me see if I can get under this desk. Knock the wood. Maybe there's a secret drawer. Ah, yes. It's hollow here. Listen. One of these drawers is short. Behind it, there must be. Yeah, here. I'll pull this drawer out, and I'll put it on the floor. Then, I reach back inside. Yes, I feel something. An envelope. Well, here she be.
How did you know it was back there?
Before he died, the last time I saw him alive, Uncle George told me that if somebody was tampering with his mausoleum, I'd find my instructions in a letter with the word Joshua written on it. To whom it may concern. So. Oh, no. Oh, no. Murdered. He killed him. Lord in heaven, what are we to do now?
The ghost in the play Hamlet says, I am thy father's spirit, doomed for a certain term to walk the night, till the foul crimes done in my days of nature are burnt and purged away. Is it so with our Uncle George? Is he also doomed to eternal unrest until his sins are purged and burnt away? With the end of uncertainty, I shall bring you Act 3 when I return shortly.
I'm lost and lonely, scared and sad, trembling at the thought of making you mad. My love is yours, but at times you're so cold. If life's like this, take me before I grow old.
This song was written by a man now serving time in a state prison. Most of the men and women in prison today were abused children, and many abused children grow up to abuse their own children. Child abusers can be helped. Find out how. Write Prevent Child Abuse, Box 2866, Chicago, Illinois, 60690.
Please stop the hurt I've suffered since my birth. Join the abused child's fight, put an end to their sleepless night.
A message of the Ad Council and the National Committee for Prevention of Child Abuse.
Would you hire a person with epilepsy? Before you answer, consider this. Companies that do employ people with epilepsy say these employees often have better job performance, attendance, and safety records than non-handicapped workers. Employers also find that when employees are given the facts about epilepsy, they're most understanding. And even if a person has a seizure on the job, co-workers aren't alarmed. They're helpful. Accident insurance rates don't increase when you employ people with epilepsy. These rates aren't based on who's employed, but on the actual accident experience of the company and of similar companies in the area. Most types of epilepsy are controlled by medication. That's why people who've chosen not to reveal their condition can keep it hidden. Why hide? Well, that gets me back to the question. Would you hire a person with epilepsy? Epilepsy. It's not what you think. Get the facts. Contact your local epilepsy chapter or write Epilepsy Foundation of America, Washington, D.C., 20036.
It's all very well to poo-poo the occult, ghostly apparitions, phantoms that haunt, the deceased who cannot find peace until they find love or are forgiven their earthly sins, etc., etc. But the fact remains that time and again, psychic researchers have agreed there are manifestations that defy and disobey nature's laws. And whether we like it or not, the unexplained does exist.
I shall never forget that evening. For even as I stood there, the letter of confession in my hand, Catherine waiting for me to read on, we were both suddenly so overcome by the cold I had to light a fire. And this was late July, mind you. We needed a fire. We lit candles. Something compelled us to light dozens and dozens of candles.
I feel warmer now. It's seeing the flames, I think. Go on, Xavier, read your uncle's letter.
To whom it may concern, especially you, my dear nephew Xavier, I fear they have come to get me. They've appeared at the door of my mausoleum, or else you would not be reading this letter.
Stop.
Uncle George. Catherine, do you see him?
Yes. Is that your...
Don't be alarmed, my dear young lady. I'm sorry we did not meet before, but only your husband can help me.
Is this true? Am I really hearing this?
Xavier, you must find Joshua's body and destroy it. Burn it. You see, I had to kill him. I put his body in the crypt, and then it disappeared.
How horrible.
Catherine, Joshua Tree's death was not half so horrible as his life. I was a fool, a lonely old fool. I submitted to his black magic. I subordinated my will to his and became a crawling, craven creature. I lost control of my mind. It was all the doing of the hellish creature he conjured up from the world of the damned. His familiar.
Uncle, if Joshua Tree's body is hidden somewhere, how can I find it?
We will try. Anything to help you, Uncle.
Persuade Father Daly to bless my grave. Help me, Xavier. Help me.
I'm glad you finally saw him too, Catherine. Oh, those heavy summer storms. We better check the library windows. I'll do the ones on the side, Catherine. You make sure the ones facing the front are tightly shut.
Look! The fire in the fireplace.
It's going out.
How strange.
Well, it must be the downdraft blowing down the chimney. Now the fire's gone out.
Oh, the candles are going out.
Must be some strange air circulating in this room. Let me get the electric lights.
The switch is by the door.
Well, that's funny. Nothing's happened.
Can't you turn the lights on?
No way. Well, that happens often in the country. Get a big storm and the electricity just shuts off.
I'll look out the front library windows and see if there are lights in the other houses down the road. Xavier, come here. There's someone out there. Look, pressed against the big oak, a man with a cape. And next to him, a tall kind of man. They're both huddling against the trunk of the tree, trying to keep out of the rain.
Catherine, the tall one, it's turning around from the tree. It's looking right this way. Can it see us?
Oh, what a hideous face. Like death. The eyes. Do you see those eyes?
Now it's beckoning to the man in the cape.
I see him. Is that Joshua Tree?
In spirit. For I'm sure now where his body is.
Where?
In that tree. That's why Uncle George was so haunted. Oh, it's all clear to me now. That time, I followed Joshua Tree to the mausoleum. They were trying to get at the corpse of Uncle George. It was the familiar who knocked me down.
Am I imagining it? But the both of them have come much closer to our picture window.
Hello?
Father Daly, is that you?
Yes?
This is Xavier. You've got to come over to my uncle's house. You've simply got to.
My boy, you sound quite upset.
Father, I implore you, come now. Catherine and I are here alone. Only you can save us.
Give me that phone. Father Daly, this is Catherine Zenith. There are two creatures outside the library window right now. They're not real people, Father. I have a very strong feeling they are not human.
Two? Did you say two?
At this moment, they are pressing their faces against the glass of the library window. Their hands are clawing at the glass as if they wanted to break through it.
Is one of them wearing a cape?
Yes, it is. Father, come quickly. Help us. Help us. They're raising their hands now and pounding at the glass. Ah! They're coming after us!
We ran out the back back door into the raging, stormy night, lashed by rain, not knowing which way to escape. The only path through the garden led right to the mausoleum, and before we could stop ourselves, we were practically on top of it.
It's there. It's standing at the door of the vault.
Grab my hand, Catherine. Hold on. We'll run for the brook.
Where are we going?
Into the water. Come on. It's not deep, Catherine. We can walk it. Stay in the middle of the brook with me. You see, these evil spirits cannot follow humans into water. If we just keep moving, it'll give up. I'm sure of it.
Oh, I hope you're right. It's got to give up before I do.
I was right. The thing gave up, finally, and by the time we'd climbed to shore, it had gone. There we stood, the rain beating down on us from above, and our legs and clothes soaked from the brook. Somehow, we found the main road to town and ran towards it.
Oh, there's a car coming. I see headlights.
Let's stand at the wayside of the road. After staying alive this long, I don't want to be hit by a car.
Xavier, Catherine, what are you doing out here?
Oh, Father Daly.
Oh, don't answer me. Just get in.
We've got to get back to the house.
All right. Close that door and let's go. Now, tell me, you two, what are you doing standing in the road wet from head to toe?
We ran from the house to get away from them. They actually broke through a plate glass window.
That's most peculiar.
Peculiar? It was horrifying.
Why do you say that, Father?
Because the spirit of Joshua Tree and his familiar are not after either of you.
Well, they certainly gave a good imitation.
You don't seem to understand. These creatures, the dead and the spirit they've called up, they're satanic twin, in fact. They're not after living persons. They're on the constant lookout for the newly dead.
Wait till you see the broken library window, and then tell me if there aren't exceptions.
Where are they now? It's time I wrestled with the devil.
What will you do?
I shall quiet the demons with my crucifix. There's only one way to drive out Satan, and the church has been doing it for centuries.
Father, look. The vault door's open. Someone's coming out.
Not someone, but some things. They're carrying out your uncle's coffin. Stop! I charge you, arch-fiends of Hades. Thou hast entertained familiarity with Satan, the grand enemy of God. I charge you, put down that body and begone!
Father Daly advanced upon the two creatures, holding his crucifix in front of him. The familiar and the spirit of the murdered Joshua Tree halted, released the coffin, and ran. Father Daly and I carried Uncle George back inside the vault and closed the doors. It came to me in a flash. The big oak tree. It was there we would find the source of the evil.
You were right, Xavier. I can see their shadows. I'll hold them back with my crucifix.
Somewhere inside this oak are the remains of the man my uncle killed.
When we find them, I suspect they'll be wrapped in that long cape he wore.
There's a sizable hole on the far side. When I first came here last April, my uncle was up there cementing up some holes.
Since he knew Joshua Tree's body had been taken from the mausoleum by the familiar, your uncle might have suspected it was in this tree.
I don't look forward to finding a pile of decomposed bones. What do we do with them, Father?
Burn them.
I'm glad Catherine's in the house. Don't know how she would react to a funeral pyre.
We have no choice.
Look, Father. The familiar. It's still there.
Its minutes on Earth are numbered. Once we have destroyed the body of Joshua Tree, what held it here no longer exists, and the familiar must return to the black beyond.
And Uncle George must have known that his body could be invaded after death. And he would have had to walk the earth forever with this familiar.
When I find the remains, I shall light the fire to them and hold high the cross.
But what about Uncle George?
I shall go back into the mausoleum and bless the coffin. Requiescat in pace.
The flames consume the phantoms from the grave. The good father returns to the tomb and blesses the coffin. Will there be deliverance for the uncle? Yes, released from wandering the earth. But in the dimension of the beyond, will the spirit of the murdered sorcerer allow his murderer to exist in peace? Or will Uncle George discover his eternal torture is just beginning? I shall return shortly.
I like pickles, but they don't like me.
Send your stomach some Digel.
I like pizza, but it doesn't like me.
Send your stomach some Digel.
Digel's special combination of antacid and anti-gas ingredients gives you fast, gentle relief from acid indigestion, heartburn, and gas in just minutes.
I like hot dogs, but they don't like me.
Send your stomach some Digel.
For occasional use only as directed.
Introduce yourself to a remarkable nasal spray that lasts and lasts up to 12 continuous hours. Duration nasal spray relieves up to 12 continuous hours. Duration relieves nasal stuffiness and sinus congestion. So just one use lets you work all day. Just one use lets you sleep all night. Duration relieves 12 continuous hours. And that's Duration, with the longest lasting nasal decongestant. Use only as directed when needed.
The ghost of his father is real to Hamlet. Banquo's ghost is real to Macbeth. And even if you or I cry out as they did, hence, horrible shadow, unreal mockery, hence, can we make specters disappear? Defend ourselves from the unknown as we may try to. The battle of angels and devils goes on. So close not your eyes. Remember, all is possible. Our cast included Christopher Tabori, Fred Gwynn, Betsy Beard, and Court Benson. The entire production was under the direction of Hyman Brown. And now, a preview of our next tale.
Our little mouse has jumped at the chance.
We move in?
For a week or two.
That doesn't give us quite enough time.
Oh, there will be ways to prolong our stay. The sicker she gets, the more she needs nursing. How long will it take?
Oh, well, one can never be quite sure. The young have more resistance. And we must take care. Oh, still, I should imagine within 6 weeks.
Oh, and we'll be rich again.
Forever, my love. Once little Amy joins the Commodore in, if you'll excuse the pleasantry, Davy Jones' locker, you and I will be set for life.
Mrs. E.G. Marshall inviting you to return to our Mystery Theater for another adventure in the macabre. Until next time, pleasant dreams.
Great if life came with a remote control. You know, you could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind. Like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest.
Uh-oh.
Or that time you forgot to roll up your windows in the car wash.
Fantastic.
Yeah, a remote control would have come in handy then. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes like managing your weight, getting active, stopping smoking, and eating healthier, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. It's easy to learn your risk. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Life